Okay, hello, PK.
Hi.
Hi, and of course, good afternoon to everyone in the chat. Hi, hello, welcome. All right, of course, for those who need a quick recap, today's topic is, well, a very, uh, shall we say, a very interesting new trend in fighting games, which is the whole battle pass thing. And my guest for today is, of course, PK. And PK, would you like to introduce yourself for those who do not know you yet?
Hi, I'm PKT Returns. I'm a streamer on Twitch. I mainly stream fighting games, but I enjoy other games like JRPGs, Genshin. I enjoy, and I've recently gotten more back into single player games. I used to be a big Final Fantasy 14. I used to spend a lot of time playing that game, but I mainly stream fighting games. Right now, I'm probably mainly focused on Tekken, but I will play Guilty Gear and Granblue.
All right. And of course, the reason why I chose PK in particular for my guest for this particular topic is, well, because I do believe PK and I are very passionate about fighting games in particular. However, we do play a lot of non-fighting games, as PK has mentioned before and sometimes has streamed it. She does play FF14, which is an MMO, and of course, a lot of you know that MMOs are very time demanding and whatnot, and that is just one game. So, of course, to start the whole talk, I do want to ask PK, outside of fighting games, and of course, what I mentioned, FF14, what games do you play that you spend a significant amount of time on?
Let's see. Recently, I started playing more single-player games because there have been a lot of big releases like Baldur's Gate, Rebirth, Final Fantasy 16 that I really enjoyed. But outside of that, I spent a lot of time on MMOs like Final Fantasy 14. Before I played Lost Ark, also Genshin, and I think that's TFT and League of Legends. I used to play too.
Okay, that is a good amount of games that I can definitely say they do demand a good amount of time. Yes. Even outside of FF14, do you also play like you said you play FF16? Did you also pick up Rebirth?
Yes, I'm actually currently playing that, but off stream.
Boy.
Yeah, I think I'm maybe 70 to 80 hours in, and I still haven't beaten it. But I have completed all the open world content. So I think now I mainly have to do the story.
You are taking your time with that game, and yeah, you should. I mean, that game is fucking huge.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Yes, it is beautiful. Despite it being large, right? Like, a lot of open world games get that wrong.
I agree.
It's not just like tediously large. It's actually pretty dense.
It doesn't feel like a grind.
Yeah, it does not feel like a grind. And again, it's not really size and quantity over quality. It really is quality over size and quantity. Like the sheer number of content you can do that you do not have to do, but you can choose to do, is plenty. Which is really what you want in a world with in a game with open world elements. Now, as for yours truly, games that I do play outside of fighting games in general, not just, like I play Tekken 8. I also sometimes play Street Fighter 6. But yeah, outside of fighting games, I do play a lot of Helldivers 2, Hunt Showdown, sometimes Valorant with the friends, of course Fortnite, and then Dragon's Dogma 2. Been a while since I played Baldur's Gate 3, but I also still play a lot of Resident Evil 4, and then, oh my god, Stellar Blade is coming out next week, which will be taking out a lot of my it will be eating into my time already of so many games that I am playing. But yeah, that's basically just to really give all of you an idea, right? Of just how much we play outside of fighting games. And just a quick question for Pika. I did not list it, but what's your current playtime in Tekken 8?
It's a little bit over 200 hours.
A little bit over 200 hours.
Yeah, maybe like 202 or 203.
202, 203. Okay, that's still
Yeah.
plenty. And compared to her, my playtime to Tekken 8 is about half that. And like I am still really, really passionate about Tekken 8, even though I do not play it too often than what my passion for it might suggest, right? I mean, we have mutuals, right, PK? We have mutuals who are very passionate, and their playtime and how often they play it on stream and off stream really does show. Not of course to discredit us or to discredit them, of course. Like it's really different from people to people, and it's really important to showcase that for today's topic, because the next question is, of course, hang on, let me just adjust it. So, okay. So, have you played games, of course, not including fighting games that have, well, battle passes?
I have. I was a big League player, like maybe a few years back. So I always used to buy the League of Legends passes. And when I was playing TFT more, like recently I dropped it because I have other games I focus on. I've started playing more single player games instead. I used to buy the TFT battle pass as well.
Wow. Okay. I want, if it's not too much to ask for, I'd like you to educate me on this, because it has been years since I played League of Legends. Yes, grounds to revoke my Filipino card. I do not play League of Legends. Smite me. But yeah. Can you tell me what are the contents of the Battle Pass in League of Legends? I am curious.
You get for the things that are free, you'll get sometimes emotes. You'll get like little tokens that you can use to buy, like say not a skin, but a different color for a skin, or a border, or like a profile pic, or you can save it up and get like a loot box. That's pretty much what they have if you don't pay. Now, if you pay, you get a lot more of that basically. And what League of Legends did is that if you got like, I think it was like 2,000 tokens, it would be enough for you to get their prestigious skin, which would be like pretty much it's like part of the skins they just released. They take one of them and then make it like this golden prestigious one.
Yeah.
And have like slightly different colored animations.
I am aware of the prestige skins. They're like premium variants of a particular skin a character has.
Yes.
Comes with a really nice banner as well and whatnot. Yep.
Yes.
Well, as for me, well, just about every game I mentioned has some kind of battle pass. Like, I mean, Hunt Showdown has one, Valorant has one, Fortnite has one. And of course, just to tease in a little bit into the topic, I mean, Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 has one.
Yeah.
Okay, now given that we do indeed play games that do have a battle pass of some sort, what are your thoughts on battle passes in general?
I have kind of a mixed opinion. I will buy them, and I have enjoyed them. I do like cosmetics in my game, and in certain games they're really nice. Like, I do think the League of Legends ones is really nice, and I know Fortnite's battle passes are really good.
Oh, yes.
But I do feel like sometimes they kind of force you to play. Like, there can be a lot of pressure sometimes to finish the pass.
FOMO.
Like, FOMO. Yeah, pretty much FOMO. That's what I don't like about them, is like the FOMO aspect. But I do enjoy the cosmetics, and especially for free-to-play games, it's like, well, they got to make money somehow to keep the game going. So I don't have an issue against it.
Yep. I am on the same boat as you are. Like, I do have a mixed opinion on battle passes. And yes, Jane, Street Fighter 6 does have a battle pass, and that really did start the whole FGC discourse on like why battle passes in fighting games in particular really leaves a bitter taste to most fighting game players. We will discuss that later, of course. But to elaborate, right, on my opinion on battle passes, like, I do understand, right? I may be a very passionate video game enthusiast. I like video games. And I do understand that although this is a bitter pill to swallow for some people, but despite what people may think, the budget for not only maintaining games, but developing games now has drastically gone up. But the price has not changed that much. And you might be wondering, huh? What are you talking about? Okay, if you look at really old magazines, and I'm pretty sure PK has seen a couple of these, especially in Japan, right? There are like magazines or like advertisements for even Super Nintendo games. Like these cost around $40 to $60 even at that time. Even at that time period, they still cost $40 to $60. And now games at most cost about $70 for like the most standard basic edition. And yeah, once you realize that, you're like, wow, we are quite lucky, if anything, that just to paint the picture better, right? Did you watch Oppenheimer?
I did not.
Did not. Okay. Oppenheimer as a movie, which was full IMAX and everything, the budget is 100 million.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man 2 is twice that, if I'm not mistaken. Spider-Man 2 for PS5, the budget, I want to get this right. Sorry, I undercut the budget. Thrice that. $300 million was the budget for Spider-Man 2. And the sales, while not exactly bad, they barely broke even.
Yeah.
With Spider-Man 2. And the price was still your typical $70 PS5 game, and a lot of people bought it. So, despite inflation, yada yada yada, and the quality of the game speaks for itself. I mean, it's a really good game. A lot of people bought it. A lot of people praised it. Whatnot. Now, despite that, and remember, PK said this earlier, especially when it comes to free-to-play games, like, she understands that the developers and the publishers need to make some money back because they're not charging people to play it, which is one of the main justifications why a game has a battle pass, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. Like Valorant and Fortnite, for example, are two free-to-play FPS games, and before any Destiny players in my chat, in our chats, tell me, what about Destiny? I'm sorry to tell you, free-to-play means no content is locked behind a price tag. If you open up and install Valorant or Fortnite, you have access to the complete game, all the game modes and everything, League of Legends as well. Sure, you do not have all the champions and characters, but the full game experience is not locked behind a paywall. Destiny 2, no matter how hard the publishers try to defend that it's a free-to-play game, no, it's a free-to-try game. Hell, me and PK play FF14, and we memorize the spiel. It has a free trial. It's not free to play. It has a free trial, but it's not free to play. It is not. Okay? But basically, right? Games like that where you can literally play those games for free, and sometimes progression, unlocking stuff can be done for free as well. Granted, it will take time. Like unlocking all of the, well, not all, let's say all of the legends in League of Legends you want to use, all of the characters and agents in Valorant you want to use. It can be done for free. Granted, it will take time, but it can be done for free. Basically, people are willing, as a thank you or just as a, like, I feel like spending on this game that I love, they will spend money and they will gladly do so because, hey, like, they could be spending it on another game or other stuff, but it's not something they are planning to do so now. But they do have this free-to-play game that they love to play, so they invest their money there instead. And that money goes back to maintaining the servers, maybe new cosmetics, new content. That's usually like a non-spoken agreement, right? Between the player and the developer slash publisher. And that is more so expected from gacha games, especially gacha games. Basically, no matter how people try to put it, most Genshin players, Honk Rail players, like they really want only one thing. They just want proper content for all of the time and money that they spend. And I think that's fair. And a couple of years back, right? So many people put out data of how much money Hoyo has made from Genshin Impact alone. It's from one character, from each like character that they release. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And the chief complaint really of most players is not the money, that how much it costs or the rates, although they do complain about that. It's the amount of content they are getting back for the money that they spent. That is usually most of the complaint that they really push towards. Hoyoverse. Now, right, for these battle passes, right, especially in free-to-play games, most of the time, they are not pay to win. That is usually the biggest, like, slippery slope that no one wants in their game. They do not want a thing they pay for in a game they do not pay for to give them advantages in the game that they play, right? Because that is literally pay to win, and no one likes pay to win. And thankfully, most of the games that PK and I play do not have pay to win elements. Not to say that, of course, Street Fighter 6 and Tekken does have with their battle passes, but do note, fighting games do also, quote-unquote, suffer from modern gaming pricing, which is, $60 to $70, which is very pricey. And just to illustrate that for those who experienced playing fighting games back in the arcade days, for like $60 to $70, which is about 3,500 or 4,000 pesos, one swipe in Tekken, and let's say you are pretty good, and one swipe you can play for like 20 minutes. So that's like 28, it's 100. So roughly, like, you can basically play 200 swipes worth of Tekken by buying Tekken. And that is a lot of time you can spend. And of course, what my point here is that when you go to the arcade to play a fighting game, you're not really there for like 3-5 hours. Not really. But if you want to, say, justify buying a game instead of like, quote-unquote, renting a game through an arcade, you have to at least play the amount of time you would have spent in the arcade with the full purchase. Now, on top of that, recently they added a battle pass, which is the standard battle pass pricing is around $10. Regardless of what game you play, it can be Valorant, Fortnite, Call of Duty, League of Legends. Usually the agreed upon price for these battle passes that players are willing to pay for is $10. And I believe Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 is somewhere within that range, if not slightly lower. And thankfully, they do only do cosmetics. There are no pay to win elements, which is a good thing. But yeah, as PK mentioned, and to put a bow on this question, one of my main complaints about battle passes definitely is FOMO. And another one, for those who do not know, FOMO means fear of missing out. Just to illustrate an example, let's say that in the Tekken 8, or sorry, let's say in the Tekken 8 battle pass, you see like a cosmetic that can be used for all female characters and all male characters, and you're like, you know what, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Then you see the rest of the battle pass and you're like, I don't really need those, but this one thing I really want. So it's like for $10, you're only getting like $2-3 worth, and the rest is technically wasted because you did not really want it. Of course, there are people who are like, I like all of these things. I like all of these things in the battle pass. You know what? Sure, buy, no hesitation. There are few people who are like that, though. Let's be real. There are very few people who will look at the entirety of a battle pass in any game and say, I like everything here. That is not the case. Most commonly, there are people who are like really in the middle ground who are like, I like some of them, not all of them though. And of course, the very, very few who are like, I'm not interested. Hard pass. Which, to some extent, I envy you all. Those who do that.
I know, same.
Those who can do that, who have the willpower to do that, I envy you. I envy you there. Now, to follow up, have you even ever bought one, and have you ever finished a battle pass?
I've bought many for the games I've played.
Of course.
But I think I'd say if I buy it, I finish it. And it's more because of the FOMO, and I don't want to feel like I wasted my money.
Aha. There is there is one of the most common cases of fallacies nowadays. Gambler's fallacy.
Yeah.
You feel like I already spent like $20-30 for 3 battle passes over the course of my game. It's gonna be a waste if I don't get the next one because I already spent so much, and I'm like, that's not how it works. That's gambler's fallacy. But yeah, you get my point. Yeah, me personally, I have bought some, and yeah, smite me. There are a few that I have not finished, and that is one of the main problems of battle passes. Like, despite you wanting just certain elements, and again, gambler's fallacy, right? You spent $10 and you only say completed 2/3 of the battle pass. So if we do raw math there, basically out of $10, you spent $10 and you only got back $6 worth of content. And of course, gambler's fallacy kicks in, like, I wasted $4. Like, I should play it more. And the thing is, that frustration, that FOMO, will affect you as a player, even if you do not know it, of a game in the long term. Because you will force yourself to play a game, even if you do not want to play it. And believe me, that is something you do not want. Opposite, that is exactly what publishers want you to do. They want people to play their game. They want people to spend time playing their game. And the explanation is quite simple. Of course, not the only explanation, but this is one of the explanations. When a player is exposed more to a game, the temptation to fork over money to buy something is increased drastically. If any of you noticed, right, in any free-to-play game, especially gacha, what is usually the first notification you get when you boot up the game?
Go to the shop.
Yes, new shop.
Limited banner.
New shop stuff. Or to claim your daily login bonus, it's in the shop tab. It's in the shop tab because again, it's very clever, low-key manipulative, but again, that is really what publishers want. They want you to spend as much time in their game, regardless of what that will cost you, be it time, be it even passion for the game, because guess what? Once they get your money, they're happy. And before you think, yeah, I'm not spending money for this game anymore, you are one person. You are one person, a drop in a very huge bucket compared to the other players who are like really, really passionate about this game. They are literally spending PS5's worth of money in the game. It's a bit baffling, but let's be real. If you are very passionate about video games, you have spent roughly that amount in games alone. Like, not even talking about cosmetics, battle passes, whatnot. But if you look at your library in Steam alone, you can look at it and see how many PS5s you could have gotten, how many Nintendo Switches you could have gotten. And you are not ashamed of that. That feeling is the exact same thing that people who play free-to-play games, gacha games get whenever they spend their money. It is not that different. But yeah, the whole feeling of buying a battle pass, there is that danger of, now I have to finish this. Like, I really, really need to finish this. And depending on the game, right? Fortnite, for example, of course, haha, funny game. Fortnite Battle Pass, which is practically synonymous, right? Thing with Fortnite is that it has a lot of catch-up mechanics, and even if you do not play for like weeks, or if you're on the last 2 weeks of a season, you have enough content and XP, like Battle Pass experience point levels to get, that you'll be maybe only 1 or 2 pages short of completing it. And again, like, that is if you get the battle pass on the last 2 weeks of the season, which is not bad. Other games, however, I am looking at you, Apex Legends. It does demand a shit ton of your time because there are severe lack of catch-up mechanics. And the way they design gaining levels is very, very demanding. And this can be problematic because, again, in my opinion, although not everyone is very good in FPS games, and that is fair, picking up and learning an FPS, in my opinion, is way easier than a fighting game. Because the core mechanic of shooting games, which is the most common place you will find a battle pass nowadays, be it an FPS you pay for like COD, or a free-to-play one like Valorant and Fortnite, the main mechanic is easy. Learn how to move your crosshair on the enemy's head and click. It's not that hard. Not saying it's easy, but it is not that hard. Compared to a fighting game, however, and the best part, again, that whole mechanic of move crosshair on opponent's head, click. That carries over to other shooting games because they are practically the same. Be it a slower shooting game like Valorant or Counter-Strike, if you carry that over to Call of Duty, sure, you are slower, but your accuracy and training in those games will still carry over in COD and vice versa. In fighting games, however, whatever core mechanics and whatever you use and learn in Street Fighter 6, not all of them are gonna carry over in Tekken 8 or Guilty Gear Strive. You have to learn the core mechanics of those games. And fighting games are niche for that very specific reason. Picking up a fighting game and not even mastering it, but just understanding it, not easy. Like, just to illustrate this, PK, how many hours would you say out of your 200 hours in Tekken 8 was just labbing?
Maybe I'll say 25 to like 25% to a third. It was just like learning combos or playing against the AI.
Exactly.
Not really going up against like online opponents now.
Yes. 25% or 30% of your playtime, and you said you have like what, 200 hours?
Yeah.
So that is roughly 200 hours. Whoa. Wow. That is roughly like what? 70-ish hours? Shit.
Maybe, yeah, like
Yeah,
50 to 70, I would say, yeah.
Damn, yeah, 50 to 70 hours of just pure labbing. Damn. And that's just Tekken 8. And again, I have not checked it because I am just not interested in the Fight Pass. I am not sure. Does the Fight Pass in Tekken 8 actually like have some progress of like playtime in like practice mode or training mode, or no?
Pretty sure you only get the like with the points for just being online or going up against like opponents. I'll have to double check. I don't think it includes the offline content either. Because Tekken 8 does have kind of decent offline. I mean, you do have the arcade quest, which is I like to use it for practicing.
Oh yeah.
Because sometimes you have to practice against something that's moving and you can't really predict what it's going to do or tell it what to do. You have to like kind of react. But yeah, I'll have to double check. But just going on what I feel, it's just from like online. Yeah, I think you have to be online. And even if you are just playing online with your friends, you don't get, I think, as much points as if you were in rank or casual matches. But I could be like wrong about that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the few times that I did play Tekken 8 recently, like I did gain like 2 or 3 levels from the pass for free. I didn't even check the rewards because honestly I don't give a damn. But yeah, I'm like, wow, like playing online against friends does progress the fight pass, which is nice, I guess, but again, the whole demand of time from a battle pass really does quite literally demand a lot of time from you. And fighting games in particular can be very exhausting, more so than other genres of even multiplayer games. I mean, for you, PK, since you used to play LoL, would you say one match of LoL already is exhausting? Like, your average time there, if I'm not mistaken, is like at best 30 minutes and at worst over an hour, right?
When I first started playing before they kind of adjusted the system, if a game went over 25 minutes, it was considered long. I would say games were like 15 to like maybe 21 minutes, but after they changed the system, it became the average is like 30. And yeah, it's not uncommon to have an hour-long game.
Yeah.
And the reason I stopped playing League was you can be in a game and you can actually win this, but your teammate got really and decided either to DQ, just rage quit, or they just start trolling and feeding the team, or just not playing. They're in the jungle, and that is so frustrating because you just wasted like almost an hour of your time. And it's like we could win because like we're not gonna win like a 4v5. We're just not.
You're not.
We could have won if you just tried a little bit, but no, they just got so
just try, just contributing would work.
It's just like it was exhausting. Like I can't do this anymore. It's just no.
And you see the biggest difference, right, between fighting games and shooting games in particular. When some random bullshit happens, or if you lose in a shooting game or even a MOBA, as sad and dark as it sounds, people at least have someone or something to point to. Yeah, that's why I lost. My teammate is crap, or this gun sucks, yada yada yada. But in fighting games, unfortunately, if you lose, you're just bad. You're just bad. And that is totally fine, because it's okay. Like, that is fighting games by design. It's not your character. You just did not pass the knowledge check or the skill check, or you dropped your combo. It's okay.
I can't block snake edges. I see it coming and I just stare at it.
Yeah, you just stare at it. You're like, how the fuck did I not see that?
He's really trying to snake edge me.
Yeah, or you fight Sheikah and you eat the lost slide like thrice in a row. You're like, how the fuck does he get away with it?
It's like, that's a different thing. Sheikah's lost.
Yeah, but then again, even then, you're like, no, that's on me. That's a skill check. Like, if I see him crouching, I should be ready for that fucking slide. But somehow, because of your dog water reflexes, you're like, yeah. And you see that frustration, right? That frustration on top of the pressure of FOMO and wanting to clear the battle pass eats into you, and that is one of the dangers of battle passes, in particular with fighting games. But of course, we will get into that in a moment. The next question, however, so to illustrate, right, PK has mentioned that she does play a lot of other games, right? A lot of single player games. Do you have more than one gacha game in your library?
Kind of play is like Genshin. I recently started playing it again, but I also play Nikke, which is a phone game. You heard Nikke?
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that game because it's like an idle game. So you can do all your dailies and stuff in like 15, 20 minutes. And if you have some extra time, you can clear more of the story. The story is actually really good and worth playing. And I find the basic gameplay can be really interesting.
Okay.
And the game's like very generous to its player base. Like you get a lot of free, like when they had their anniversary and stuff, they gave us like about maybe 50 free pulls. So I feel like it's worth playing, and I don't feel like it disrespects my time. Of course, there's always going to be a pay to win aspect if you're doing like the PvP competitive content or some of the like raids, like what is it? Like the raids where they kind of like pit people against each other. Okay, which guild can get the best score? You know, that's all pay to win. But just as a game, for what you get, it's really good. And I'm mainly playing it to complete the story. It's nice. It's nice.
Okay.
But that's pretty much it. And then of course 14, I recently started playing a lot more.
Yeah, riding that Dawn Trail hype.
Oh yep, can't wait.
Same. So yeah, how many fighting games do you play regularly? And when I mean regularly, right? The amount of time you spend on one fighting game is almost similar to the amount of time you spend on another fighting game.
Right now, it's probably Tekken. I have been playing Guilty Gear a bit more, mainly because I entered the tournament in EVO Japan. Because the tournaments, like this year, they charged for you to enter the venue, but entering the tournaments, they're all free. So you could enter every.
That's good.
Yeah, every fighting game tournament if you want. I chose like Guilty Gear and Granblue because I like the game, and for tournaments, it's good just to be a number there, just to add like interest to the game. It's like depending on which game gets the most entrance, that's like the number one game they show up for top 8. You know, it's good for the game basically. Good for the game. So I enter to support, but I would say Tekken is the one I played the most by far. Because Guilty Gear, I'll pop back in whenever they release a new character, do an update. Same with like Granblue.
Okay.
Although like Granblue does have also a battle pass, which is very good. And I've recently been playing Granblue very casually. Like you can get your dailies done in just like basically 3 or 4 matches of Granblue. So that's like kind of one of the reasons I kind of have kept up with it after its release. But I wouldn't say I play it nearly as much as I play Tekken.
Okay, that's good. Me personally, I think my ratio of like playing Street Fighter 6 and Tekken, definitely 3/4 of my fighting game allowance in terms of time is definitely dedicated to Tekken 8, and 1/4 of that, if I feel like it even, is Street Fighter 6.
Okay.
So just to illustrate, me and PK really love fighting games. We used to stream and play off stream the same fighting games, usually at the same amount that we used to play. Like when Guilty Gear Strive was. Oh wait, one sec. I have a phone call. Damn. 1 sec.
Sure. No problem.
Okay. So, back when Guilty Gear Strive was like really popping off, and this was about during COVID, right? During the time of COVID, I really was just playing non-stop Guilty Gear Strive. And then when there was that period, right, of Tekken 8 that had a teaser, I started playing Tekken 7 again. And then after I luckily got in the alpha test for Street Fighter 6, I was playing a shit ton of Street Fighter 6. When Street Fighter 6 came out, oh my god, I was playing that non-stop. A lot of our mutuals actually got Street Fighter 6 as well.
Oh yeah.
Same goes for DNF Duel when it came out. I did play a lot of that as well, especially with Blue, who absolutely loves that game. Absolutely. And then,
that
of
was
course,
a game.
Yes, that was a game indeed.
He's good at it. He's really good.
And then there's Tekken 8, of course. Elephant in the room, knock knock. Tekken 8 comes in. A lot of us legacy Tekken players who have been playing since like Tekken 3 era We love Tekken 8, play a lot of it on launch, had a blast of a time. And of course, chuckling as I go because I'm like, yeah, look at these people who never dipped into Tekken and now hopped into Tekken 8 because of all the hype and curiosity, right? Like, it really is because of all the fighting games that came before it. It did start with Guilty Gear Strive, in my opinion, where um fighting games in my perspective, my opinion, are still niche, but that niche has definitely expanded because of Guilty Gear Strive,
No, I agree.
DNF Duel, Street Fighter 6. Like, a lot of people you did not expect to play fighting games are playing fighting games right now. And Tekken 8, hilariously, some might wonder, why is it Tekken 8 like even more people I did not expect? Like, of course, Lily Pichu, for example.
Yeah, I
right?
was gonna mention her. Yeah, she's obsessed with Tekken right now. I
And
love it.
honestly, the reasoning for my part, my opinion, why I think is very simple. Out of all the fighting games out there, Tekken 8 is the most viable when it comes to mashing. If you just mash buttons
Yep.
in Tekken 8, you will win.
You will do stuff.
More so than in Guilty Gear Strive, Street Fighter 6. You will
Especially not
not.
Street Fighter, no.
Yeah, you're not gonna win if you just mash in those games. But Tekken 8, absolutely. If you do nothing but just piano the buttons in Tekken 8, you will probably win. You will get away with the most egregious bullshit. And you know what? That is part of Tekken's identity, in my opinion. For better and for better. Yes, I know what I said. For better and for better, it is part of Tekken's identity that if you just mash buttons, hey, you'll win.
I remember the Tekken 3 Eddie Gordo. What did they
Eddie
do?
Gordo,
3 and
yes.
4. And he did stuff.
3
and
4
they
3
won.
4 3 4. And of course, Hwarang also got that 3 4
Same,
3 4
same, yeah.
occasional
Yeah.
plus 3 plus 4. That's 3 4 3 4. Tekken 8 brought friends of mine out of FGC retirement phone. I mean, Tekken does that. I mean,
Yeah.
not to say that Tekken is the like it's not the most graphically superior fighting game, but Tekken 8 has always had that identity where the style is very photorealistic, I would say. You compare it to Street Fighter 6, Guilty Gear Strive, DNF Duel, Grand Blue, they have a very specific art style. And I think the art style for those games are absolutely they own that. They own that. I will not want Guilty Gear Strive to shift away from the very anime design, or Street Fighter 6 to stray away from their very stylized just stylized design and whatnot. No, that's part of their identity.
Yeah.
But for Tekken 8, it really is all about photorealism. I mean, you do not see someone with comical proportions like Abigail from Street Fighter 5. Or hell, Zangief from Street Fighter 6. I mean, there are exceptions, like, I mean, to be fair, the bears are kind of sized like real bears, and I mean, I think the most comical proportion character we've had recently is probably Fakumram.
Yeah,
He was comically large, but for that's for Tekken standards. Like, Street Fighter Guilty Gear players would like, that's comical. Ha 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 ha. Laughs in, like, I don't know, Potemkin or something, right? That's totally fine. But yeah, that basically illustrates really that me and PK, despite us having a background of playing so many fighting games, like 90-80% of our time, and then suddenly it tapers down to barely 20-30% of our time because we are playing other fighting games or other games in general. And not because the game is bad, no, it's because like we love fighting games, absolutely love fighting games, but we love video games too.
Yeah,
there are other video games to play. And again, kind of like an arcade, right? Kind of like the arcade culture where it's not only fighting games there. I mean, there are
Oh,
other
yeah.
games to play there. There are rhythm games, racing games, your typical arcade games like on the rail shooter like House of the Dead, Time Crisis, that kind of thing. We like, yeah, although we have the intent to like, yeah, I want to play Tekken today. Like a different day, we're like, yeah, I feel like playing Drum Mania today or Time Crisis.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Yeah, and we are that kind. And I believe that is actually quite the majority of fighting game players. Like most fighting game players, although it's not as vocal or as loud, like just to put an arbitrary number, I think at least 70-75% of a fighting game's player base, casual player base, plays other games more than the fighting game itself. Like, I honestly believe that. Okay. Next question before we move on to the intermission, before we get to the meat of the topic, because there are a lot of things we had to cover before we actually tackled the topic head on. Would you say fighting games demand more of your time than other games, or do you like distribute it evenly? Even with the context of like, by the way, PK, I wish you luck in Evo. Even with the context of like you joining Evo and whatnot, right? And it doesn't have to be even like a numerical demand. It can be an energy or emotional demand when it comes to like time.
That's like a really good question, because I have a mentality with fighting games that it's best to play them consistently over a long period of time to get good versus mindlessly grinding for like a few weeks and then never playing it again.
True.
But I would say, like, emotionally, I say fighting games demand more from me because, you know, if you want to win, you have to play well.
Yeah.
Like single player games, like Final Fantasy 14, some of the stuff you do in there, you can literally put your controller down and you're fine.
Oh yeah. I agree.
Yeah, like some of that.
How's your island sanctuary going?
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, depends on what you want to do in the game, but I would say, like, this is my attitude towards fighting game. Although I am in my little training arc for Evo, because the way I am, I know I'm probably going to go 0-2. I probably will. But as long as I feel like I played within the best of my ability and I put some effort in, I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
So I would say my time is distributed. The actual time is distributed evenly. But when it comes to, like, emotionally, I'm more invested in fighting games. Like, fighting games really bring out, like, the fire and the passion in me. Like, I like, you get salty because you're passionate, you know. It's kind of like that. You really that's what I would say for me personally.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. How about?
Me personally, I would definitely say fighting games definitely feel like it demands so much, not just time, but if we're just talking about just time, I feel like, say, and I think you can relate to this, I think even just an hour in FF7 Rebirth, I can accomplish and complete more than 1 hour labbing in Tekken 8.
100% agree.
Like, I don't know why, but I think that really is just the design of fighting games, right?
Yeah.
Like, you spend 1 hour just labbing, and I'm not even talking about combos, right? I'm just talking about labbing, say, a character's top 5 or 8 moves and what context or circumstances they can be used in, or like setups. Like 1 hour of doing that feels like an eternity, and you feel like you scratched the surface, and then you spend 1 hour in Rebirth. You're like, that was 1 hour? Felt like a half hour at most.
That's like me, like, oh no, I gotta go to bed now. Oh man.
Yeah, but then you spend like an hour just labbing, like, hell, fuck it, since both of us are Nina mains, right? Like,
oh gosh, the sidestep cancels.
Yes, like just learning how to sidestep one cancel and
yes.
sidestep one cancel into your mix-ups and stuff. You do that for 1 hour and you're like, why do I feel like I learned nothing from this?
Yeah.
Or you're like, how the fuck can I use this? Like, yeah, I can cancel it, but what now?
And I do it in a match though. Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah, because that's
doing a
why I
match.
say with like fighting games, like don't look at yourself tomorrow. Look at yourself like a month or two from now to judge like progress because
Oh,
it's,
yes.
it's
Just
like you
to-
get better. You just gotta stick with it over a long
Yes,
period
yes.
of time.
You,
Yeah.
you really have to. This is one advice I try to remind people who get into fighting games. When you are looking at your progress and your results, do not be too driven by your results, because the fighting game is a very interesting landscape, because in my opinion, if you compare like the greatest, say, FPS players, they are babies compared. I'm not talking about skill. I'm talking about just age alone. They are babies compared to the greatest of like fighting game players, because guess what?
Mm-mm.
Arcades, no one was playing Counter-Strike or COD in an arcade. People were playing Street Fighter, Tekken, Guilty Gear, Marvel vs. Capcom in the arcade. They have been doing that for nearly half a century. That industry is half a century old, just the arcade alone, in terms of like games, right? Fighting games,
Yeah.
okay? You are contending and comparing yourself to people who have been doing that not just for decades, but nearly half a century, where, and again, realistically, you may face them in the future. Whereas you take the best FPS players, realistically, you are not going to face them in even your ranked matches. In like Counter-Strike, Rainbow Six Siege, Valorant, whatever. You will not likely face them. But in a fighting game, you have a chance to go against suddenly like Daigo or Jay Wong in Street Fighter 6, or pick one person from the Korean army in Tekken 8. Like suddenly you're up against not even JDCR's Dragunov, like probably his Reina or something. There is a chance. And again, a lot of these people, most of these people, if there's one thing that FPS and fighting game professionals can share, is that they get paid. They get paid
Oh yeah.
to be that good. And not all of us are. Most of us are not. So you do not take your loss as a loss, but you look at your loss as a like, not raw like, yeah, I lost to this player. No. You ask yourself, did I lose worse or did I lose better this time? Like, did I put up a fight this time? Like, you should not look at the result at the rawest form of it. Like, you look and yeah, they 3-0'd me. That is the like surface of it. Yeah, true, they 3-0'd you, but did they have to work for that? If they did, that is a huge improvement. If they did just a little bit, that is still an improvement.
Yes.
Because again, you cannot bash your head against the wall in a fighting game and expect to improve. As PK said, and I agree with this, instead of spending every waking moment for the next 5-7 days trying to improve in a fighting game, you have to do it organically. You have to feel or want, like, yeah, you know what? I want a lab today. Because some days you're like, I don't want a lab today. I just want to go on ranked or casual play online and see how many Nina snake edges I can get away with. Yeah, fuck it. I just want to see how many I could get away with. Why not? Like, you have to feel like you want to do it. And because unlike FPS games in particular, the more you play an FPS game, the better you will get faster. Like, you really will just get better as you play. But if you just play a fighting game just casually without the intent to get better, the return, like the amount of knowledge and quote-unquote skill you get in return for playing a lot is not so much. Because if you play to get better and play to have fun, believe me, it is going to feel different. It is going to feel very, very different. because it's very counterintuitive, right? Tekken 8 is a very combo-heavy game. And the proper way to play it is not to rely on combos. And I'm like, but that's the best part of Tekken, though. And yes, I agree. The best part of Tekken is the funny-ass combos. But it's not efficient. Because again, you look at the frame data of like even the most basic DF2s, you're like, if they block this, I'm fucked. Yeah, because you're not supposed to be doing it every time. But that's the fun part. And that is where the division starts. Do you want to have fun or do you want to improve? And you as a player, you want to balance both. And because you try to balance both, you do not get to completely have fun, and you also do not get to completely improve. And that is a tough decision to make. And that really is up to the player. And that is why being very results driven in a fighting game is very, very detrimental in the long run. It is just not realistically sustainable unless you are being paid. Like professional players. But yeah, that is why me personally, even though I play, like if I just look at the raw numbers, right? The amount of time I have spent in Tekken 8 right now is just a bit over than what I've spent in Dragon's Dogma 2. But I can spend 5 hours playing Dragon's Dogma 2 in one sitting. It doesn't feel like 5 hours. If I've spent 5 hours in one sitting in Tekken 8, it feels like 5 hours. It feels like 5 hours. And that really is just by design. Like, fighting games just... It does things to people. I'll say that much. Alright, brief 5 to 10 minute break before we move on to part 2 of the the podcast, where we finally tackle the topic head on, right?
Oh yes.
But of course, anyone in the chat, wow, 200 hours in Dragon's Dogma, damn. Anyone in chat who has questions for me and PK, or any thoughts you want to share, kindly do so now. Now is the time. Well, you guys could have done that before, but if you ask us now, we will immediately address it, because, well, there is we are just being chilling right now, so yeah. And let me just put a timer for the countdown. Yeah, wait. So yeah, PK, how has your little training arc been going so far?
It's been a lot of fun, although I got a little bit frustrated with Tekken 8. I'm not seeing progress, but it's fun. It's the journey, not the destination.
True.
It's the journey. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Had a lot of fun with Guilty Gear again. Like, Guilty Gear's like my comfort game. I always have fun when I play it. Like, I've never been super serious, but there's something about just the aesthetic of the game, and the air dashing, and the roaming cancel, and the character design, and the music.
Yes.
It just makes me smile.
Yep, I agree.
Like, I don't feel like it's the most, like, competitive game, but it's a nice break from Tekken, because, Tekken, you can get really sweaty and salty in that game, because it does have that, especially when you're streaming it does have that intense competitiveness to it.
Or, when you get Harada'd. When you get Harada'd, you're like, bruh, what the fuck was that?
Harada, why?
Harada, why? Like, I'm not even next to a wall. I know the wall is Harada's domain. But I'm middle of the screen. I sidestep a move. I'm like, oh, I sidestep that. And I'm using the queen of sidesteps, Lily. And then their second move hits me. I'm like, excuse me? How did that hit? Make it make sense, Harada. I sidestep that. I'm behind them. But their front kick somehow hits me. Like,
I've seen so many Twitter clips of that.
Yeah, it's really frustrating.
Like, my favorite one I saw was the Claudio Superman punch that hit the guy, like, they sidestepped it, but they got hit, so it looked like they got hit in the back or something. It's the weirdest animation, like, what?
Yes,
I'm like, you're not helping my Buff Claudio campaign I have going on with that stuff.
Oh, I feel that. Another one is Nina.
Like, no.
I remember somebody like Lily, and it was on a Lily too. Lily did her spin side step thing, and at the same time, like Nina did a delayed blonde bomb, and it still hit. And I'm like, wait, I'm a Nina main. That should miss. The blonde bomb should miss. How did that hit? And again, as you and I know well, blonde bomb is a mid, but is very susceptible to sidesteps. And when Lily sidestepping, you're like, that's gonna whiff. Lily, the queen of sidestep, that's gonna whiff. And then it hit Lily. I'm like, huh? Excuse me?
When I'm playing Tekken 8, there's been several times I just wanted to add them as a friend and send a message like, I'm really sorry about that. You got screwed over. I apologize.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny.
There are so many times, like, I did fight even online, like, online rank, right? Like, I see, like, regardless if I'm on the receiving end or my opponent is on the receiving end, if we see some bullshit that should not have happened, both of us just stand there and we're like, did that just happen? Like, did that just happen? And like then we teabag at a distance just to like understand, yeah, that just did happen. Okay, whatever, moving on.
Tekken.
Oh yeah, Tekken.
That's kind of always been like that, but I feel Tekken 8 is just more worse. Like there's a lot of bug. People say it's really buggy.
A lot of people have compared Tekken 8's current state to like arcade Tekken 7. And while I do understand that, it's still a very weak defense in my opinion, because Street Fighter 6 did not have this level of bullshit on launch.
Street Fighter 6's launch is flawless.
Well, I would not say flawless. It did have server issues at the start. That was one of the main issues. Like, people could not make their own lobbies. And even if you went to the battle hub, even if you go to the battle hub, it was buggy. But other than that, just raw gameplay, there were almost no bugs. There were no bugs. In gameplay alone. As far as sidestep just doesn't work in Tekken 8. I mean, to be fair, Aldo, in Tekken 7, people do not know this. And yeah, only Tekken heads will know. In Tekken 7, across the board, they nerfed sidesteps. That is why King in particular was like the black sheep of Tekken 7, even arcade days, because not many people could sidestep King's moves anymore. And King had very, very good neutral pokes for a grappler.
Yeah.
In Tekken 8, more so, because if there's one criticism that Knee has that I do agree with, like, I do not get how sidesteps are very susceptible to some grabs. And I'm like, wait, how is this a thing?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not right.
That is not right. Like, I understand the whole system of like, if you'd use a power crush, right? Or a heat engager that is minus, and you get grabbed, you cannot throw out of it, that's fine, because that system complements, like, yeah, we want you to be aggressive, but if you are mindlessly aggressive, guess what? You are gonna get thrown and you cannot break out of it. I think that's fair, because the risk reward is balanced. Like, the risk for going ham and aggressive and the opponent just keeps blocking and not like ducking, sidestepping, worth it. Because when you have the offensive advantage in Tekken 8, it shows. It absolutely shows. But of course, if you keep failing trying to get the initiative and your opponent just keeps punishing you, it also shows. Like, maybe I should trade a little bit of Unga for a few brain cells.
Yeah.
Maybe. But the fact that throws in this game is already very interesting, where back then, the throw break window of a throw is fixed. It doesn't matter if you were punching as they threw you, but right now there is a mechanic. Not many people know this because the game does not teach you this, and I have mentioned this before. Tekken needs to do a better job of teaching under the hood mechanics. Now, granted, there are no secret moves anymore. Like you say, look at Stonehead. Stonehead for Kazuya used to be a secret. It was not part of his command list in 7.
Oh yeah.
Neither was Devil Form Kazuya Hell's Gate combo, which is basically Hell Sweep into the Heaven's Gate. That was a secret move. Granted, that's good that there are no more secret moves. Thank you. But there are just so many mechanics that are really, really important that they do not teach. And I'm like, no, teach. Teach the player. Like, teach the player that if they do a rage art on block, they cannot break out of throws. Teach that. Fucking teach that. But more so than that, let's say that your standard 1+3 throw, the throw break window is 15 frames, which is a quarter of a second. If you, and you know how counter hit works, right? Basically, if your opponent throws out a move and your attack hits them before their move goes out completely, it's a counter hit. And counter hit, not only does it deal more damage, but it has new properties, which means there are some moves that do not start combos on block or on hit, but on counter hit it starts. Easiest example for Nina mains, back 4. Although it is a high, if on counter hit they get hit by back 4, you can do back 1+4, which is a guaranteed launcher. And you go full combo with that, and it hurts.
Yep.
Now, as you're trying to do that, if an opponent can read like, this Nina is fishing for back 4, if they grab you before your back 4 comes out, guess what? That 15 frame throw window is now 11 frames. I'm not sure exactly how many, but your window to break out of that is smaller. Like a quarter of a second to suddenly a sixth of a second is a big change, a big gap. And
yeah, it feels like impossible.
The game doesn't teach you that. And for those who are Tekken like experienced, it's basically trying to break out of Julia's mad axes. That's basically it. Mad axes for Julia, who is which is her command throw, has one of the shortest throw break windows of any throw. And she's not even categorized as a grappler. And that's on a normal throw. Like, PK could just be doing her usual sidestep 1 cancels, but if her opponent throws out a throw, because PK did not perfectly cancel it, which, understandable, even I fucked that up several times. PK now doesn't have a quarter of a second to react. She has a sixth of a second to react, which is not realistic. Like, she will definitely get thrown most of the time from that. And the worst part is not even the fact that it's 10 frames or 11 frames. The worst part, the game doesn't teach you. Like, why? Why? I think this is something every player should know. But the game doesn't teach you. That sucks. All right. We're moving on now to the meat of the topic. And of course, we are going to start out very, very strong with this. Because now, so generally, oh wait, hang on. So generally, SF6 and Tekken 8 has been met with generally mixed or negative reception in terms of like their battle pass. Why do you think this is the case?
They just seem really out of touch with the player base, I feel.
Oh, how so?
Like,
how so?
Well, with Street Fighter 6's Battle Pass, it's mainly just like avatar items.
Oh,
and
dear. Yep.
From what I understand when I look at people who will play Street Fighter 6 a lot, especially online, I think most of them don't care about avatar stuff. I think that's very like casual content, and I kind of wonder how much time the casuals are gonna put into it. And I I don't play like Street Fighter 6 anymore, but I just get a vibe that people would rather prefer stuff for their characters. Like at the end of the battle pass, if they had like a character color, like say your costume 1, this is color 15 or whatever. I think that would be a lot better, and they might actually, I don't know the sales for it, but I think it would actually sell more for the game. And then with Tekken 8's one, what they got right is, yeah, they give you stuff for your characters, but what everybody's upset about now is that it's mainly Tekken 7 reused assets. So people think of it as lazy, and it's like, plus people didn't like the fact they kind of snuck the battle pass in like, what, 2 months now after the game came out, so they felt like they were kind of lied to. Oh, you got microtransactions now, and also, the thing with the Tekken 8 Battle Pass is that it has the kind of same thing Street Fighter 6 did with their skins, whereas you have to buy extra coins just to get one skin so you have something left over. Like that free-to-play, like, currency pricing that everybody despises.
Yeah, I'm very much aware of that. Just to illustrate... oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. I was going to say, because Aldo just mentioned, Grand Blue actually has done the best with the Battle Pass. Because everything, like, you get illustrations, you'll get like rupees, you can slot stuff in the shop, and at the end of the battle pass, you get like a character skin. It may not be a character you play, but there is like a nice character skin. Plus, like for the other characters, there will be extra color available for their outfit. And you don't have to worry about that free-to-play extra currency, buying another currency to buy it, stuff that everybody dislikes. So
that is fair. Just to illustrate, also one of the main reasons, I'll start with Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6 season 1, and when I say season 1, I'm talking about just Rashid. No one even had an alternate outfit yet. Just outfit number 2, that's it.
Yeah.
Aki came out, still none. It was only after like a few months after Aki came out that everyone except the DLC characters had outfit 3. Ed is now out. Rashid and Aki still do not have outfit 3. Now, just to illustrate, I did some digging. In season 1 of Street Fighter V, each character has one alternate costume. Season 2, some characters have a nostalgia costume. In Season 3, some characters have one crossover costume in the arcade edition. The amount of cosmetics for characters in Street Fighter V was generally a lot more generous than in 6. Like, that is just sad. And again, I always try to look at this from the developer and publisher standpoint, right? They went through the trouble of making a battle hub with an avatar system and whatnot. And I still praise to this day, I still praise the single player content of Street Fighter 6 because it is one of the most robust single player experiences for a fighting game. And mind you, the reason why I say this, single player content is not really on the mind of most long-term fighting game players. Like what most fighting game players, even the casual ones, focus on is just the general fighting game experience, right? Yeah. Like how easy is it for me to play with a friend, gather some friends so we can fight together? How fun is it to play the game? Is the net code good? Yada yada yada. Like, yeah, the single player content is not really the priority. But of course, if you look at it from the developer and publisher standpoint, they spent money to develop a very detailed character creation system. And then the battle hub and avatar customization system, where it will definitely feel like a waste of money if they do not try to get back some of the amount that they spent in funding that. So in the battle pass, in the fight pass, you have even collaborations, especially the collaborations. They did the Ninja Turtles collab. They did the Spy Family collab, and this is going to be my take on this. Let us briefly forget the fact that one Ninja Turtle costs like $15. Okay, let's forget that for a moment. People would care less about the price tag if those outfits were on the main roster of characters. Like, people gave a crap, like, why would I spend $15 for a Ninja Turtle for an avatar I barely use? But suddenly, if Capcom changed it a bit and said, oh, you can dress up Ryu and Ken as Ninja Turtles, suddenly people will not hesitate and say, you know what, bet.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the price. It's not the price tag that was the main concern of people when it came to these collaborations. It's the value of getting it. Because when you buy it, it's $15. How often will you go to the Battle Hub to fight players there? When, again, going to the Battle Hub, finding an arcade cabinet and waiting for a player to be there takes time. When most people, they will just go to the battle menu and then just queue there and then lab. Guess what? Not once will they see their avatar in that state.
Yeah.
And on top of that, as Senna and Aldo did mention before, the pricing of the in-game currency, I really wish fighting games would stop doing this. But again, this is very scummy behavior. This is definitely very scummy behavior. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, Electric Wind Godfist.
I agree.
Again, let's say an outfit, okay? Outfit 3 for a character costs $6, okay? $6. And again, realistically, most people have only one character they will use 95% of the time. Me personally, I have a lot of quote-unquote mains. But most of the time in Street Fighter 6, I use Chun-Li. But again, I use other characters a generous amount of time. I use Ryu a lot, Manon, Marissa, I use them a lot. But Chun-Li is still my main. So I have basically 4 character outfits I could realistically get and say, worth the buy. Problem, I said that the outfit is $6, right? $6. The cheapest currency you can get is about $5. Yoko, what the fuck am I gonna do with $5? Nothing. You can't buy shit with $5 other than colors, maybe. That's it. But not the outfit you want. Okay, so what's the next tier I can buy? Oh, 15. Oh, how convenient. That is more than one I can get, but short of 3 outfits I can get. Which means that if you want one outfit, you have currency to get 2. So that currency is sitting on your screen, staring at you. Spend me, bitch. Like, you're like, no, I just wanted one outfit. I just wanted Chun-Li's outfit 3. But because that currency is sitting there, and it's worse if you're in Japan, because if you're in Japan, God bless you, PK, that currency is not staying there forever. It's not staying there forever. And like, what the fuck? So you have to spend it. And again, Street Fighter is not PK's main fighting game. Hers is Tekken, and she said it here. Her comfort game is not even Street Fighter. It's Guilty Gear. So, and at the very least, Guilty Gear, how much is it to buy Elfelt? Oh, it's this amount of dollars. How many Guilty Gears do I need? Like, gears as in like in-game currency. How many Guilty Gears do I need? No. You can buy it with money. Good. I can just spend my real money right off the bat to get a character I want in Guilty Gear. Thank you. I do not know why Street Fighter 6 did not do that, because like no one complained about like them charging for Baiken, for brisket, because that's just straight like, yeah, I only want Baiken, so I'll just fork over money enough for Baiken, then that's it. Fair. Thank you. You're welcome. Can I get my character? Yes. Can we have your money, sir? Okay. Thank you. Transaction done. But in Street Fighter 6, you're like, oh, you want the battle pass? You want this outfit 3? You need our street tokens. And how much? You look at the receipt, right? You look at the receipt and you're like, I need to spend $15 worth of street tokens. Okay. I need to top up my tokens. Can I get $15 worth of tokens? No. Okay, how much do I need to spend? The next one is $17. Like, what? So technically, you are not buying $15. Technically, these things do not add up to $15. It's $17. Like, at the very least, Capcom, don't lie to us. Like, if you want your battle pass to cost $12, give us the option to buy it for $12 right off the bat. Instead of like, you can buy $10 tokens and then $5 tokens or $15 token. Just tell us that it's $15. Don't lie to us. Like, that's bullshit.
Yeah. And the thing is, a good thing about Granblue is that Granblue, you just buy the battle pass directly or the character skins. So you don't have to buy that alternate currency BS. So I think the battle pass on Granblue is like $6 or $7. And then if you want to buy like a skin, it's like $5. However, with Granblue, because you have the rupees that you can get, the Catalina skin they're selling right now, you can buy it for, I think it's like 22,000 rupees. So it's a grind, but you can actually buy it.
But you can get it, yeah.
Yeah, same with the 2B DLC and the Vayne DLC, I think, is also that you can use the currency.
Yeah.
But I could be kind of wrong. I'd have to double check.
Yeah.
Because I had bought the deluxe editions of Granblue, so that's already included for the characters.
Like, the fight pass in Street Fighter 6, and this is just Street Fighter 6, I have not even gotten to Tekken 8 yet. Like, the cosmetics you get, they're all avatar cosmetics. Like, you are not getting anything for your characters when most of the time you're not gonna see this. You have to go to the battle hub or in single player game world tour to see the nice cosmetics you worked your ass off.
Yeah.
The only thing you will get from the fight pass that is kind of worth it is the character rental pass, and they give you one for free, I believe, just by progressing the fight pass. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I remember getting one for free when Rashid came out. I did not even buy Rashid. I also got one for free when Aki came out, and I did not like buy the fight pass during that time. Granted, I bought tokens to unlock Aki, but yeah, I got free rentals for free. But still, this sucks. Remember Treasure Battle? I remember Treasure Battle, yeah. Cause like in Tekken 8, now that we're moving to Tekken 8, a lot of the cosmetics that characters get, you can just get that just by playing the game. Single player, online, ranked lobbies, you get a good amount for you get a good amount of cosmetics or currency for cosmetics, in-game currency, which is just gold. Now granted, someone will be like, what? That outfit costs $1 million. Dude, $1 million is nothing. $1 million gold is nothing.
In Tekken, no.
No. But yeah, I do understand what I do not like. I do agree with what I do not like about the Tekken 8 cosmetics is that a lot of these cosmetics was not given to us this way in Tekken 7.
Yeah.
Like, they never sold us outfits for characters for real money. The only things we got for real money is a new stage and a new character. That's it. And I need to remind everyone, one of the scummiest decisions they ever made in Tekken 7, frame data was something you paid for. Frame data in a fighting game was something you paid for in 7. I am so glad they did not do that in Tekken 8, but the brownie points is not worth what we got in return. We got a fucking fight pass. And like, it sucks because sure, I saw the rewards. A lot of them are like, yeah, all female characters can use this, all male characters can use this, and I'm like, this was not a thing in Tekken 7 though. Like, huh. And the funny thing is, I sympathize with Harada on this. Because in, I think, one of his podcasts, his IRL podcast stuff, he did mention that the decision to do that was the higher-ups' decision. It wasn't his.
He didn't want it.
He did not want it. He did not want it. However, I will agree with this defense that the money that is spent to maintain the game servers and whatnot is a lot. And I understand that. Look, I'm pretty sure all of us here are like, no, you want us to spend $10? No, we will spend $10. But have us spend it fairly. Like,
yeah.
Incentivize, not force us to spend $10. Like, this is the wrong way to do it.
Give me better items.
Yeah,
like the thing is with the Tekken 8 Battle Pass, like, don't underestimate the Tekken customized communities. I mean, they do amazing customs, and even in Tekken 7, a lot of people are like, "We will pay for more custom items. We will pay for character skins. We will do this." But what they've done is they basically took a bunch of Tekken 7 stuff and just put it in there, and it's very like half-assed, uninspired, and it's not. It's just like, it's just rubbing everybody the wrong way. Plus, people didn't like the fact they just added it a bit later instead of just being upfront at the beginning. Hey, we're gonna put this we're gonna put the store in later. I mean, people kind of sensed it was probably gonna happen, but we were kind of like given hope that, oh no, Tekken's not gonna go that route. But you know, they followed Street Fighter.
The thing is, right, and people illustrated this. You look at Jin's Tekken 4 jacket and Jun's Tekken Tag 2 outfit. Both of those are ports from their games. Like, the Tekken 4 Jin jacket was a port from Tekken 7, but upscaled. Granted, it is not perfect, but it is very efficient. Like, you might say lazy, but you know what? It actually looks better. Like, okay, cool. And then Tekken Tag 2 Jun's, there is barely any upscaling because you look at the creases, it's practically the same mapping as in Tekken Tag 2. What people do not like is the fact that, how do we get these? How do we get these? And I get it. They want us to spend for it. I think people would have been happier just spending straight the amount that they want to spend or need to spend instead of getting in-game currency.
Yeah, like, in-game currency.
If these outfits cost $3, $4, Jin and Jun mains will not hesitate to get it. It's $3, $4 for a really nice outfit for your character. And you know what? Good for you. What people do not like is that, oh, it costs $3 to $4. Guess what? You have to spend $5 for it. So I'm like, what am I gonna do with the leftover? I don't know. Up to you. So, oh my god. So you are tempted then to spend an extra to get more currency so that you can get like another thing you did not really want, but in your head you're like, it's a waste. And they know this. Higher ups in Bamco know this. Now, on one end, this is where it gets a little bit controversial. However, the Tekken community, especially the modding community, needs to police itself better. Because look, I've seen this in FF14. I play in FF14, okay? And I've mentioned this several times, but I need to remind chat about this, okay? In the FF14 modding community, there are two unbreakable rules. Number one, no NSFW Lalafell mods. For the most obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Number two, no mods that involve making paid cosmetics free. That is a big no-no for the modding community in FF14, and I agree. Because you are basically stealing from Square Enix if you do that. It's not that there are no lewds. No. There are a lot of lewd mods in FF14. There are a lot. But the community have this agreement. We are not making lewd Lalafell mods. No way. We are not opening that can of worms. Number two is what I said. Any cosmetics that you have to pay for, you cannot mod it to make it free. which is basically outfit swaps. All right. Now, here's the thing. I used to use a mod for Jun that gave her Tekken Tag 2 outfit because I wanted it. I wanted Jun's Tekken Tag 2 outfit, and it was not in the game, so I modded it in. Now, no shot. When they released it, I uninstalled it. When they released it as something I have to pay for, I uninstalled it because you know what? I'm like, no. This is fair. I wanted this outfit in game. I would gladly spend it, but I could not. Now that I can, okay, I'll uninstall it. The thing is, the modding community in Tekken is defending this shit. Like, no, you are stealing, but it's AAA. It's still stealing. It's still stealing. This money, like, we can argue ad infinitum that it's just going to their pockets. Harada already said that the money that is being spent in this game is used to maintain the game. When the day comes that it is revealed that, yeah, it's going in their pockets, we can hold them accountable for it. And we absolutely will. But until then, like, trust the process. Like, Harada has done a lot of questionable things in the past, but when it comes to Tekken as a game, he has done whatever he could to care for that game.
Yeah.
We cannot discount that, right? We cannot take that away from him. He loves Tekken 8.
I have so much respect for Harada because he pretty much, like, the game wouldn't be here if he didn't beg Bandai Namco to, like, continue the franchise. Like, literally begged him from what the story said.
And to highlight also what Senna said, right? Like, you look at how Bamco handled Soul Calibur 6. Soul Calibur 6 did sell you some cosmetics for money, but there were no in-game currencies. So if the game told you, yeah, this outfit you want is $5, people are like, okay, here's $5. Transaction done. But what people do not like about the whole Battle Pass monetization, you're wondering, what does the Battle Pass monetization have to do with cosmetics? It has everything to do with it, because you need to spend your in-game currency for the Battle Pass, and then the Battle Pass gives you some currency, which you're like, do I spend it on the next one, or do I spend it on other cosmetics that I want? And here's the rib. You will always have leftover currency that is not enough for a Battle Pass and a cosmetic. And if you spend for both, you will not have enough for either. And you're like, so what's the problem? The problem is that people are now forced to play a fighting game, even if they love it. Trust me, forcing people to play a fighting game is way worse than forcing people to play other genres. Because fighting games are just very different in terms of, like, how a player will experience the game. Because, like I said, one of the biggest reasons, salt. If you get salty in a League of Legends, Dota, Valorant, Fortnite, you can always point at something else. Like, yeah, that person is using an OP gun, or that's bullshit, or my teammate sucks, yada, yada, yada. But in a fighting game, the only person you can blame is yourself when you lose in a fighting game. And that sucks. And that is precisely, like, why this whole Battle Pass and cosmetic thing in Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 has the entire FGC in a tizzy. Like, everyone is just like, why did it come to this? Like, how did we get here? And moving on to the next question, because it's really important, PK, do you think this will become a trend?
It's like, I really hope it doesn't, but I think it's just the modern gaming trend, because it's not just fighting games that this is a problem. I mean, a big name is Diablo 4. That game was, whoo! I've never seen a game that gets so messed up my whole life. Because it has so much potential, but it's just modern gaming. It's just modern gaming, and I think there's a way to do it in a way that it pleases your customers. And I really hope that Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 kind of take the feedback of this and just make something that's better.
Yeah.
And I don't like the fact that, these games have the in-game currency. I don't like that. I like Grand Blue did a way better job where you just buy it straight. There's nothing you gotta worry about. So. Yeah, I think they need to hopefully that they listen to us and they look at it, because you don't want to have a fight like a battle pass in the fighting games like that, because it's gonna end up I think hurting the game in the long run.
Like it did ruin Diablo, yeah. The reason why the Battle Pass in Diablo ruined Diablo is because some of the things you get from the Battle Pass are actually for stuff that you need for progression.
Yeah.
Like, that is the worst sin a Battle Pass can ever do. If it affects the core gameplay of a game, you just made that Battle Pass pay to win. And guess what? That is the chief complaint of Diablo players right now. Like, look at these crafting mats. Where can I get that? Oh, run this. And by the way, the whole appeal of Diablo is whenever you kill a boss, that fountain of drops that gives you that sweet dopamine rush. That is the design of Diablo since the first game. Hoping that that legendary weapon or that crafting material you need drops. And the sound, Blizzard perfectly crafted that shit since the first title. Now you can expedite it just by spending money in the Battle Pass, and I'm like, why? Like, this is a core, it affects the core mechanic. How so, Yoko? It takes out the reward of I worked for this shit. Yeah, that fountain of loot. Oh yeah, I worked for that. It robs you of that reward cause now you're like, I just need to swipe my credit card and now I have the crafting mats I need. Now here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. You do have a point, Senna, where it is a problem, but the thing is, history has shown that a proper battle pass can be made. A proper battle pass can be made. And you got people in chat, buckle up for this one. You guys look at Valorant and Fortnite. Both of these are free-to-play games. Their battle passes are purely cosmetic and they do not affect the core gameplay mechanic. The worst ones are the ones that do the exact opposite. And yes, Senna, I was getting there. You look at Destiny 2 as an example. Halo and Helldivers Battle Pass. Yes, Halo and Helldivers Battle Passes, they have no time limit, so there's no FOMO. That is the best kind of Battle Pass design ever. That is nice. Like, you look at, I'll use Jane as an example. She joined Helldivers about 2 or 3 weeks late into its release and has joined us regularly. And she can choose out of the premium passes which ones she wants to get, and she can take her time clearing it, because guess what, it's not time limited. And yes, just so that PK knows, in Destiny 2, one of the worst monetization systems I have ever seen. This was illustrated, and Senna, you can back me up on this. So, in Destiny 2, because that game is so large, they have to rotate out content, and that includes weapons in a looter shooter, okay? In a looter shooter. They have to rotate out weapons from previous seasons to favor new weapons for people to grind in the new seasons. But of course, for aesthetic reasons or for build reasons, some people want to get like a mythic revolver that was 7-8 seasons back, or like they want to get a rocket launcher for their character, right? So the battle pass gives you these tokens that you can grind just from the battle pass. You get 3 for free and 3 premium, so that's a total of 6. You need to clear 21 premium seasons to get enough to trade that in for a guaranteed, like, fully kitted out mythic weapon from previous seasons. That much. And yeah, as Senna said, they are in season 23, so you can only get one. Oh, and by the way, if you think it doesn't get any worse, PK, get this. recently, Bungie added a $100, yes, $100 premium currency bundle. Now, you're wondering, what the hell will people pay that for? Oh boy. Let me educate you on this one. The battle pass still costs $12, okay? $12. Now, you can expedite grinding 100 levels by using silver, which is the premium currency. If you do the math, how much silver do I need to get the battle pass and then skip everything? Guess what? It is the exact amount that the $100 premium currency bundle gives you. And you're like, how is that pay to win? Let's see. The premium battle pass comes with, I don't know, experience points, better loot drops, crafting materials. Like, it is literally pay to win, because the community has defined what is winning in Destiny 2. Getting better loot. What does the premium battle pass give you? Better loot. By basic math, that literally makes the battle pass pay to win. Now, thankfully, this is not a problem in Street Fighter 6 or Tekken 8. However, this is a problem across all games with a battle pass. It forces players to potentially invest more time than they planned to in a game. Because let's be real, not all of us have like the amount of time that we allocate daily for all the games that we play. Some people have a 9 to 5, and then the rest of those they use to relax, spend time with their friends or family, and then play video games, right? And the amount that a lot of games want you to spend to grind the battle pass is very, very demanding. And to give you an example of how bad it was before, Apex Legends literally gave people 50 free levels because players complained about how bad progression for the battle pass in the first season that a battle pass was introduced in Apex Legends was. It was that bad that EA gave everyone 50 free levels. It was that bad. And quite frankly, for some games, it has not changed. Like, the amount of time they do for this is demanding. And worse even, is that some games have changed the design of their content to complement the battle pass. That is the worst part. Because now, like, people who play just for free are like, why would I, like, I want to spend just 2 to 3 hours doing this, like, dungeon grind. Why is the game forcing me to, like, wait on a cooldown? And then you look at the battle pass, and then they give you, it refreshes the cooldown of the dungeons for free on the premium battle pass.
Oh, that's horrible.
That is horrible. Yes, games have changed the design of their core gameplay mechanics to complement the battle pass, so people are now, they feel forced to pay the game, and that sucks. Now again, I'm not saying Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 is doing that, but that is a problem that has become a trend in a lot of games that have a battle pass. And I discussed this several times already before, but like Project L is now in this position where, again, it is a Riot game and it is already known to be free to play. So people put 2 and 2 together and are like, this game is probably gonna have a battle pass, right? And me personally, I am not scared. What I am scared is how they will execute it. Because again, so far, in terms of like big fighting games that have a battle pass, we are 0-2 for right now. Generally, the FGC hates the battle pass for both Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8. Majority.
Yeah.
Project L has this responsibility, not expectation, responsibility to change that. Like, Project L must make a battle pass, because let's face it, there will be one, okay? Well, let us face it, it's free to play. They need to monetize to keep the servers up and to give us... League of Legends has over 100 legends. Like, imagine trying to fit... they probably will not, but try to fit 100 fighting game characters in a fighting game. Good luck. But basically, they need to get funding, basically, to maintain the servers and to maintain, like, content, be it game modes, cosmetics, new characters in their free-to-play game. And like I said, people will be willing to spend as long as it feels fair. As long as the transaction feels fair, people will gladly spend for it. To be fair, Aldo, I am not sure exactly how the premium subscription for ESO goes. This is why I only play FF14 because, like, hey, I'm paying for content, and guess what? Yoshi P gives it back to us freely and fair. we have Animal Crossing at home for free. We felt like our subscription funded that, and you know what? They have not abandoned that content. Like, we are still getting updates for Island Sanctuary regularly. And that's great. So yeah, like, I know that this will become a trend, but it has to become a proper trend. Because I'll give you guys examples of trends that have died out and trends that have not died and have evolved. Loot boxes. That trend has aged as well as milk at this point. Everybody hates loot boxes. Now, to be fair, there are some games that have done that really, really well. I introduced to you Warhammer Vermintide. Warhammer Vermintide has a loot box system where whenever you finish a mission or a campaign, you got a loot box in the end that gives you equipment. And the thing is, it's fair. Like, it's fair because you cannot buy it. The only way you will get it is by completing the campaign. And depending on how good you do, the contents and the amount of loot boxes you get are better. And that's fair. That is absolutely fair. And another one is, hear me out, to some extent, by design, Overwatch's loot box design was not too bad. Why? Because you can literally farm for loot boxes, like, for free. Granted, it's not pay to play, it's buy to play. You had to buy the game once, and then you can either spend for more loot boxes or just play the game to get loot boxes. What I did not like, however, with Overwatch is that you could not buy the currency to buy the stuff that you want. Because you could buy skins, emotes, highlight intros for premium currency, but you could not buy the premium currency. You had to get that off loot boxes, which sucks. And yes, I do remember when Ubisoft tried to sell NFTs in their game Breakpoint, and I love Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I was disgusted at that. I'm like, no, I am not buying into this. And like, how is this an actual thing? Like, and you're like wondering, what's the point of, like why is it bad? Because Ghost Recon Breakpoint is a shooter. Ghost Recon Breakpoint is a shooter, and they are selling you NFT guns. Like, what the fuck? Thankfully, that is a trend that never got anywhere. However, if there is one trend, two trends that have evolved over time, it's battle passes and microtransactions. There were, at some point, Microtransactions were purely cosmetic. Okay, they were purely cosmetic. To some extent, however, some microtransactions have also become pay to win. Also, battle passes. Fortnite's battle pass was one of the first that was really, no, it's all cosmetic. It really is just all cosmetic. And to this day, Fortnite's battle pass is purely cosmetic. There are no battle pass only like weapons or mythics that you can use in games. Like, no, it's purely cosmetic. Like, not getting the battle pass will not lock you out of content or make you less of a player in any game mode. No, you're good. And thankfully, Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8, their battle passes are the same too. It is purely cosmetic.
Yep, it is.
Now, however, as history has shown, these things can evolve. These things can change. And I am skeptical at worst because, again, history has shown bad stuff tend to die out. And yeah, I'm talking about like loot boxes. Like, loot boxes are literally a thing of the past. Any loot boxes right now are usually good ones. Like, yeah. As Senna said, some people right now actually prefer loot boxes as long as they are designed properly. Like, I think people will be fine with those. But if unlocking X, Y, or Z was locked behind a loot box, that is where people will bring out their pitchforks and their torches again. Because people would rather really spend directly for something they want as long as it is priced fairly. And as long as it is not, as I said, buy to win or pay to win. All right, moving on to the next question, which is really more in depth and a little more meta. So, how come or why do you think battle passes in hang on, let me fix this. Battle passes in fighting games have generally been seen negatively compared to other games with battle passes?
I think it's just because you have to pay full price for the game. That's it. It's like if you bought Street Fighter 6, the standard edition is like what, $60?
$60.
And then
yeah.
I bought the Ultimate Edition, which was like around like $100. Same thing with Tekken. I spent like okay, Street Fighter. Yeah, I was like, why did I do that? I
salute you though.
I wanted the extra stage or something. I don't know, but they did give you enough drive tickets so you could just get the unlock all the colors or something. Like, you pretty much got, like, whatever character you like to play, you could unlock all the colors for their outfit kind of, like, instantly almost. You got enough drive tickets for that. And you didn't have to pay for it. But still, you know, I mean, I know that Street Fighter 6 is probably, like, expensive to make. Because I know, like, definitely for Tekken 8, that game, the standard edition of that game, just judging how it looks, I would expect it to probably should have sold for, like, close to $100 just for the base edition.
Fair.
Without all the DLC. So that's why, like, I kind of understand them wanting to put microtransactions in because they want to make more of a profit. It's just how business is. It's how modern gaming is. And if the game doesn't make enough profit, there is a possibility that the devs will be fired or the franchise will be dropped. You know, that's a thing. So, in my opinion, like, I can understand why they're doing what they're doing with the battle passes. But again, when you pay, you know, anywhere from $60 to $100 for a game, you don't want them putting, like, it's just a bad taste, especially when you have in-game currency. Like, people don't like that free-to-play, like, pricing and model in their game they just spent, you know, pretty much almost $100 for.
Yeah.
Well, that's my opinion.
And to add to that, right? And this is something that not many people will really know unless they introspectively and carefully look at it. By design, a battle pass for a fighting game is very, very difficult to do. Because you look at how Valorant or hell, even Call of Duty does their even Overwatch does their battle passes, right? When it comes to FPS games, literally everything you will get from a battle pass is really cosmetic. Be it a costume for your character or gun skins. They are usually like, yeah, just purely cosmetic. And you're wondering, like, how is that different fighting games? Hear me out. let's take Call of Duty for example. Like, you have characters on two factions, and basically, multiplayer games are basically those two factions fighting each other. However, no matter what character you pick, there is no clear advantage or disadvantage because it's not like hero-based or skill-based. It's just really gun-based. In terms of like, how do you fight, right? And even in Overwatch, and this is where, when I illustrate Overwatch, you will see where this starts to become a really, really big problem in Tekken and Street Fighter 6. If you do a quick Google search right now, Overwatch 2 has about 40 heroes. And Tekken 8 has, how many characters? About 32.
Yeah, I think that's right.
32.
Yeah, around like 30, yeah.
32. Street Fighter 6 has was it 19 characters now with Ed? Or was it more? I forget. I think it's more. Wait. Street Fighter 6. How many characters does Street Fighter 6 has? 18 on launch plus 3. So yeah, 21. Oh. Yeah, 21. Sorry. 21 characters, right? 21 characters. The problem is that if you look at Overwatch and their cosmetics, some of them are skins, some of them are emotes, some of them are highlight intros, some of them are sprays. I can go on with some of them are blank. Basically, there are so many cosmetics that the Battle Pass has to cover. Realistically, not every character, not every hero in Overwatch is going to get a cosmetic. Now, here's the thing. In Overwatch, by design, you will be switching characters mid-match. Like, depending on the objective or depending on what your opponents are using, right? To counterplay them, you will change your hero into something else. So this means that by design, people will be using more than one character because there are roles and each character has different abilities and such. In Street Fighter 6 and Tekken, the match literally starts before you even enter the match because you are picking a character and then you pick the stage. And then that's it. You are locked to that. And like what? Tekken 8 has, I forget how many levels and pages to unlock of cosmetics. And some of these cosmetics I've seen, some of them are player cards, some of them are character art, some of them are outfits that everyone can use. And this is where it becomes a problem where, again, Tekken 8 is one of the more complex fighting games to learn, to pick up even. So, how many cosmetics can you give on a regular, like, Battle Pass on a regular basis? And let's say that Tekken has like 50 pages, right? Sorry, 50 tiers to unlock. This means that at most, every character is going to get at least one cosmetic from the Battle Pass. If Bamco wants to give every character, every player something from the Battle Pass. And then some of the more popular characters will get maybe 2 cosmetics. Because again, if you have 50 tiers and then 30-ish characters, you can only guarantee that each character will get 1 cosmetic from the Battle Pass. Which means that a lot of players are going to get cosmetics for characters they do not even use. And that is a problem because in a fighting game, most people will have one main and one pocket. They will realistically not be switching characters very, very often. Because by design, you look at Overwatch, Valorant, Fortnite, and yeah, those games. Switching characters is not that big of a deal, even though it is a core mechanic for some of these games. Because those games are designed for you to change characters and whatnot. Tekken, fighting games are designed for you to pick a character and learn how to use them and master them. So now you see how asking players to spend $12, $10 for a premium battle pass that will have cosmetics, and not all of the content in that battle pass is for the character they use. And depending if they are using a very popular or not so popular character, they might not even get anything. So let's say you guys will notice this recently, Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 have these like graphs and charts of how many, like the pick rate of every single character. You can see like how many percent of the player base is using XYZ character. And no surprise, like I expected, the bears in Tekken 8, not many people are going to use them. And I'm correct. This means that Bamco, if they want to maximize profits, which as a business, they will. This means that in a battle pass, they will prioritize cosmetics for the more popular characters over the least popular characters. Because at the end of the day, they are looking at this at a very number standpoint. And me and PK, who are Nina mains, we primarily are Nina mains. We are somewhere in the middle, hilariously. Nina's pick rate is somewhere on the middle to low end of the graph, which I'm like, okay, which means in terms of balancing, we will not be scrutinized as much. Good. Do not touch Nina, thank you.
It's fair and balanced.
However, this also means that when it comes to the battle pass, me and PK will realistically, we will not see any Nina related cosmetics in the battle pass. Even if we want to spend, or even if we will gladly give Bamco money, because we believe that, the money we spend is gonna be spent for maintaining the netcode, giving better cosmetics, giving DLC characters, etc., etc. Realistically, we're not gonna see that. And we're on the middle. We're on the middle end. What more the people on the low end who are maining bears, meaning the less popular characters, they will get almost nothing in a battle pass. And again, battle passes cost $10 to $12. Do the math. That is a fifth, roughly a fifth of the game that you paid for. That is a lot. That is a lot of money. That is a little over 10% of what you paid for. Asking someone to pay full $60, $70 and then asking, can you spend 12% of that again? Like, what? Why? Cosmetics. Oh, is it for someone I use? I don't know, maybe. And that's why I think battle passes in fighting games are a lot tougher and a bad idea than battle passes in other games, because it's a lot easier to design battle passes in non-fighting games, because fighting games are not that diverse in terms of gameplay. Let's be real. It's because it's very simple. Fighting games are very simple. You whittle down your opponent's HP based on what the game allows you to do. That's it. There is not much emergent gameplay. Because you look at Battle Royale, FPS shooters, looter shooters, hell, roguelite games, there is a lot of under the surface gameplay that people will figure out and will make the game more diverse and more replayable, right? But at the end of the day, Tekken 8 on day 1 is going to be the same as Tekken 8 on day 300. Season 4 of Tekken 8 is going to be the same as the game that you played Season 1. Fortnite is a different story. Because of how Epic has designed that game, they can change how that game feels from Chapter 5 to Chapter 6. And a lot of us here play Fortnite. A lot of you, I'm sure, will agree with me on this. The Fortnite we played 2 years ago when we started is so different from the Fortnite we play now. For better and for worse. You cannot realistically do that with a fighting game, because guess what? The only justification to do that is a sequel. Tekken 7 plays differently from Tekken 8. No shit, because it's a sequel. But in a fighting game, you cannot drastically change the already pre-designed, predetermined, already established gameplay features without pissing people off. Because fighting games are very, very time demanding and very stressful to master. Could you imagine, guys, if in Tekken 8, like day one, oh, here's the heat system, and then people spend the entire 3-4 months just teaching, learning how it works, and then suddenly, season 2, suddenly they introduce a new heat mechanic, and you're like, wait, what? Why? We just learned this for 3 to 4 months. Now you want us to learn another thing? Like, it's not malleable. Yeah, that's the word I'm using. Game mechanics in fighting games are not as malleable as other genres. And again, by nature, a battle pass will demand people to spend more time. And fighting games, again, I sound like a broken record at this point. Fighting games are not very adaptive in terms of like gameplay. You cannot change too much. At best, if you look at Guilty Gear Strive, at best, you can add moves to characters and people will be like, okay, this is cool, but it's not that drastically game breaking. Maybe game changing. You look at the new moves in Guilty Gear Strive that use half your dust meter. Sure, that did change the game, but it's not game breaking where it feels like Guilty Gear Strive plus R2 or something. No. It's still Guilty Gear Strive at the very least.
Yeah.
They can do that for fighting games, but they cannot do what Fortnite does, where Chapter 4 or even one season to the next feels vastly different. No. You cannot do that in a fighting game. You should not do that in a fighting game. Because, again, more so, in my opinion, more so than other genres, fighting games have the harshest knowledge checks of any competitive multiplayer game, in my honest opinion. Like, the knowledge checking that Tekken, Street Fighter 6, Guilty Gear does on a regular basis is wild compared to a shooting game. Like, I'll ask PK. PK, what is your knowledge for... what's your experience when it comes to shooting games?
Tried to play Apex, and I didn't really like it, but I did play Valorant for about a week with some of my coworkers.
Okay.
And I actually had fun because I liked the mode where you just like went around just shooting people who could ever get the most kills.
Oh, deathmatch, yeah.
Well, that's about that's about like all I have experience with.
And you see, the thing is, the weapons themselves do not change, so you have very little to learn. That's the best part. See, there's very little to learn. Even if they just recently added a weapon and on a regular basis they add new agents with new abilities and balance already existing agents, there is not too much to learn because it's already established, right? An operator will kill you in one shot to the chest or head. That has not changed. And that is a core mechanic. That is very similar in Tekken, where in Tekken 6, 7, or 8, you reach certain amount of health, you are mad. When you are mad, you deal more damage. That has not changed. That has not changed. And in my opinion, it is still a core mechanic because it can change how people play. Like, if I see that PK is about to reach rage, I will consider intentionally dropping a combo because I'm like, I don't want to put PK in rage because Nina with rage is scary. To some extent, like, isn't any character scary with rage? Nina in particular has crazy combo damage with rage. Like, her easiest combo damage with rage plus heat is 120 damage without the wall. Without the wall, okay? Her easiest combo is 100 plus damage without the wall. So, it forces me to play in a certain way. And even if they add more characters, I can rely that whatever knowledge I had day 1 can still be applied in day 300, day 400. And maybe it will evolve a bit, but the game does not change too much. And again, at the end of the day, Yoko, what does the battle pass have to do with anything? All of my time, energy, and money is just focused on the game itself. Nothing arbitrary, nothing else forcing me to boot up Tekken for any other reason. That is why, like, just to bring an example, we have a mutual here, Cyan. Occasionally, he boots up Fortnite just to progress the battle pass. Not even like, you can argue like, but Fortnite is fun. Yes, but what was the main reason that you booted up Fortnite to progress the battle pass? Like, only few games can do that without compromising fun. That is very tough to do. And I think for fighting games, that is almost impossible to do. I'll be frank. Because if you are booting up Tekken, Street Fighter 6, whatever fighting game, other than to have fun, other than to grind your rank, then it is not what you signed up for. Because fighting games are just that demanding. Some of you here who do not play fighting games will find it very hard to believe. But believe me, as someone, and PK as well, we have been playing fighting games for years. Like, for years. Like, booting up, even just going to an arcade, we already know what game we are going to play. Back then, we did not have to worry about a battle pass whenever we went to an arcade. We just went there, spent money to play game, had fun, leave. And we're like, okay, next time I pass by, I'll do that again. And then now, Capcom and Bamco are like, oh, hey, look at this timed battle pass that you only have X amount of days to clear. And you're like, oh my god, why? And you're like, oh, that's not so much. Ask yourself though, do you play other games other than the fighting game that you are grinding the battle pass for? If no, I envy you. Straight up, I envy you if you play Tekken or Street Fighter 6 and you also grind out the battle pass and it's not tiring for you. Guess what? I don't feel sorry for you or anything. If anything, I envy you. That is tough. But not everyone can manage that. More so like majority of people have other games to play, especially now that there are so many good games to play. We're not in this era anymore where other games are crap. No, other games are actually getting good. Well, yeah. There are so many really, really good games to play. Some that are cheaper than fighting games, mind you. Some that are cheaper than fighting games. That more so people are like, and again, a bit controversial. Like, you look at Dragon's Dogma and Street Fighter 6. I bet you more people will, and they're priced very similarly too. I bet you more people would rather buy Dragon's Dogma 2 than Street Fighter 6 for the sole purpose that it's not a fighting game.
Yeah.
People will get more out of a single player game at the same price than a fighting game. Like, that is the reason why it's very niche. All right. Moving on to the next question, which, again, this is really leaning more and more into the deep end. So, Project L being probably slated to be the biggest free-to-play fighting game, do you think it will have a battle pass? And what do you think the reception of that will be? Just from the current climate of fighting games with a battle pass.
I think because it's going to be free to play, people are gonna let all the microtransactions slide, but like, just based on exactly what you're saying and how fighting games are, I just don't know how you're going to make a battle pass for a free to play fighting game. Because with, at least with Tekken and Street Fighter, like, character costumes I know are like probably the best way to make money, I think, in a fighting game for microtransactions. Like, people will buy them as long as they're like reasonably well, let's get rid of the in-game currency thing, but if they're reasonably priced enough, really good quality. Because I actually will say this, the Street Fighter 6's costumes are very well made. The
Yep, I
the
agree.
costumes have like physics. And on top of that, when you buy the costume, you get 10 different colors to choose from. So what is the actual price? Not the in-game currency price, but I think they're about what, $6-7?
$6.
Yeah, that's a very good price for the quality.
Yeah,
now the
I
in-game
agree.
currency thing is why everybody was mad, but
Yeah.
I didn't have an issue with the price. So it'll be interesting what Project L does. Cause what's the other free-to-play game? Is it Brawlhalla? There is other free-to-play
Blue told
fighting
me
games.
that Brawlhalla does have a battle pass, and some of them are like even character skins, like crossover character skins as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think if I'm judging how they do with League, because League has a lot of character skins, and even though League does have loot boxes and battle passes, I think most of their money is made from the character skins. I mean, I know when I would play, it wasn't uncommon for somebody to have like the brand new skin out for their character. If that was the character they made. And I don't discuss how much money I've spent on League skins. We don't discuss that.
As someone who used to, I sympathize with you there. Yeah, we do not talk about that. We do not.
We don't. I mean,
yeah, we don't.
So
honestly,
it'll be interesting.
Yeah, honestly, given Riot's recent history, like, we can complain about their games all we want, but so far, all of Riot's recent games, be it the free-to-play ones and some of the buy-to-play ones, like they did on Steam for the Shadow Isles campaign with that one, and as well as the upcoming Nunu game, I believe, they have been doing really well. A lot of people love League, a lot of people love Valorant, a lot of people love the digital trading card game Legends of Runeterra. They have been doing really, really well. And I am fully aware of the microtransactions. Some of them are not so micro. Talk like skins in LoL and Valorant, definitely. However, the microtransaction pricing may be questionable, but it's fair though, because again, none of them are pay to win. Yes, they are expensive. Yoko, that one bundle in Valorant is $120. Yeah, outrageous. I agree. However, given the current climate, at the very least, it is not pay to win. And on top of that, there is a slight FOMO, because if you miss out on some skins, you have to RNG it every day to see if it appears for you on the shop. But at the very least, they are not locked out forever. At the very least, a Fortnite does the same thing as well, except for battle pass skins, unfortunately. However, given how Riot has been doing, and because Project L will be free to play, I am confident that it will have a battle pass. However, given how Riot has been doing their battle passes, I am pretty sure people will complain less about the battle pass of Project L, because their battle pass design, at least from what I can tell from Valorant alone, is not too bad. I see player cards, I see premium currency for skins, as well as some weapon skins, which range from meh to pretty good from the battle pass. So yeah, I think Project L will do well in terms of battle pass, but again, fighting games, this is my entire point of this podcast. Fighting games are not Fortnite, they are not Valorant, they are not Diablo, they are not Dead by Daylight, they are not XYZ. Designing a battle pass for a fighting game without it feeling already taxing as it is not easy. Definitely not easy, because you think of it this way. You look at how most gacha games fulfill their daily battle passes and weekly stuff, right? It's usually, do this dungeon 3 times, or clear 5 elite bosses this week. Like, it's part of the gameplay, and you will do it on a regular basis. And you're like, isn't that the same for fighting games? Not exactly. Because again, you look at what most people do in fighting games by design. Most people usually play with friends. And then
Yeah.
fewer than that will grind ranked.
Yep.
Now, the thing is, people who grind ranked are the ones who spend the most amount of time in one sitting. So you can bet your ass that by design, fighting 5 friends in a row will not reward you as much as fighting just 3 random opponents in ranked. And that is already stressful as it is because you are playing differently. Believe me, you will play differently if you are playing for your rank than if you are playing with your friends. And of course, there are caveats. I mean, for example, PK right now is in her Evo training arc. So whenever she plays with us in some of our lobbies, we do understand that she is training for Evo, and she cannot
Trying to play well.
she cannot get all of the knowledge she needs online because again, when she fights online, she will be fighting the upper 30% of picked characters. So she will mostly see Dragonov, Reina, Azucena, King even. But she will rarely see Xiao Yu, Nina, the Bears, Asuka, etc. She will rarely see those. But a lot of us play those characters on a competent level. So at the very least, she does play with us to acquire knowledge and to actually get good. So there is this mutual understanding where when we fight PK, we're like, yeah, she needs this fight. So we're not gonna really only play for fun. Like the fun will still be there. Because it's always fun playing games. I mean, my favorite quote from Satoru Iwata, God bless his soul. Games should be one thing and one thing only. Fun. Games should be fun. And the best part is that fun is subjective.
Yeah.
Like for PK, her definition of fun in Tekken 8 can be very different from what mine is. But at the end of the day, both of us are having fun. The bottom line is we are having fun. And I can still have fun sweating or trying hard in Tekken 8 as much as PK can have fun doing the same thing. And that is really what the focus should be on. Not to say that a battle pass cannot be fun, but a battle pass should be fun because it is in a game, and a video game should be one thing and one thing only: fun. Can you make chores fun? Yes, but that is very paradoxical because you know that saying, it feels like a chore. When you say that it feels like a chore, it's something that you have to do, but something you do not necessarily want to do. So, to balance that out, you try to make chores fun. And that is what I want video game developers and publishers to do. Like, I understand that you guys want money, especially because budgets for games in general, very, very high. Yes, I understand. But there has to be this mutual respect and understanding that if you want our money on top of the money we spent to even just play this goddamn game, it has to be reasonable, it has to be fair, it has to be fun. Those are like my 3 requirements for a battle pass in any game. It has to be reasonable, it has to be fair, and most importantly, it has to be fun. I do not want to feel like playing a fighting game, be it Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, is a chore. Because fighting games already can feel like a chore for people who are not particularly good at it. And I really feel bad because, again, fighting games are $60, $70 nowadays. Not cheap. And if every time you boot it up, you do nothing but lose and lose, you feel so demotivated, you feel so exhausted, and you look at the amount of money you spent and you feel so bad. And you feel like you're stuck, like, I'm not gonna get better. And then you're like, you're like, no, I have to spend time to get better. But if I spend time, like, I'm miserable. It's a dangerous loop that a lot of people fall in. You do not want to have a battle pass to worry about on top of that. And that is why this question really focuses around that. Like, Project L, which definitely is the next fighting game that will have a battle pass, they have to design it well because so far every fighting game has looked at the previous successful one and learned from the really goody good part of that fighting game. You look at every fighting game that has succeeded after Guilty Gear Strive. It's a meme at this point. Does it have rollback? Every fighting game after Strive, everyone was asking that. Does it have rollback? You look at Dragon Ball FighterZ right now, the only thing people are asking for from Dragon Ball FighterZ is not a new character, it's not cosmetics, better netcode. That's all people want. And Street Fighter 6, the first thing they said, other than crossplay, was it has rollback. And remember, every Tekken 7 veteran leading up to Tekken 8, we were like, does it have a better netcode? It better have a fucking better netcode. Thankfully, it does. You see, thankfully it does. So, Project L now, already, like, the creators of the damn netcode themselves are behind this game, which is good.
Yeah.
They now have this responsibility to show the other fighting games how a battle pass in a fighting game is done. I want it to be done well because, again, I am not against video game companies making money because if they make money, that means they have more money to funnel into their already existing games or give us a better sequel to their already really good games. It's a win-win cycle. We get to have fun playing really great games. We spend on them, and guess what? The next game is going to be better, if not as good, and everyone is happy. I want that. I want that situation. But right now, as it is, yeah, people are just pissed with the Battle Pass situation in Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6, and it sucks. I'm not laughing and I'm not pointing at this and laughing at this. I'm pointing at this and scratching my head, disappointed. Like,
yeah,
guys, do better, please.
Yeah.
And if anyone argues, like, just don't buy it then.
Yeah, that's...
You know what? Fair. Just don't buy the Battle Pass. But the thing is, like, the money that I am not spending on this Battle Pass is also money that is not going to maintaining this game. Because Harada made it clear. Harada made it clear as day. All of these monetizations that they are doing is spent to maintain the game. And that statement comforts and worries me at the same time. Comforts me because now I know where my money is going. Worries me because how about the money that's not going into this game? Does this mean that Tekken 8 down the line, if people do not spend enough money, it's gonna become shit? Because that is kind of what is being implied.
Yeah.
And that leads me to the next question. So, let's prepare for a bad-ish scenario. So, what alternative would you think for of a fighting game to have a continuous stream of revenue that is not a battle pass? I think this is easy, but it is something that should be discussed.
I think it's character skins.
Yeah,
it's the big one. Because, like, the funny thing is that, like, a lot of people get onto Dead or Alive for all the skins and stuff they had. But if you think about it, they were before their time. I think that's one of the best models for a fighting game. I mean, Dead or Alive 5 went on for 10 years, and they had some really good collaboration skins. Yeah. And if that came out today, people would buy that. I mean, people be eating that up like crazy good. But no, at the time, people were just getting on to Dead or Alive for that. And it's a big shame because I would love to see Street Fighter and Tekken. Like, Street Fighter 6, they fumbled. They would, in my opinion, they would have made so much more off of just skins. And I mean, I know it takes time to produce them, especially as Street Fighter 6's quality. But I think they just put all their, like, the money and resources into the Avatar things that I think could have been done on something that could be more profitable. Like, when they did the Spy Family collab, if that had been character skins, if they had a Chun-Li skin, oh my god, that would have sold.
Well, hilariously enough, that is where the modding community stepped in, and I'm like, oh dear.
Yeah. But I think it's also how I feel. It's an indication of where we are with modern gaming. All these companies are just so profit driven. I mean, like Bandai Namco, you're not going to support the game that went out. There should be some like Bandai Namco God, what I want to say, something that they like a business endeavor. Okay, this amount of money is just given to Tekken 8 to keep the servers going. You know, why does Tekken 8 have to do that themselves? You know, it's they're under Bandai Namco. I mean, Bandai Namco gets a lot of the money from the sales, so I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a modern gaming issue versus
Yes.
solely something with just fighting games or battle passes. It's more of a like
It
everybody's
is a modern
complaining.
gaming issue. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah.
Like,
Because I mean, you look at Baldur's Gate.
yes,
That game just showed people something. Because
yeah,
I
and-
did not care for Dungeons of Dragons. I knew nothing about Baldur's Gate Larian, but I got that game and I really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah,
Worth every penny.
And again, I really like how a lot of developers were scared because of Baldur's Gate 3 success, and
Yeah.
the gaming community just proved a point. Like, guys, do you really think our expectations are that ridiculously high that we expect developers to make a game exactly like Baldur's Gate 3? No.
No.
Like, the main takeaway, and this is why your statement that games are profit driven nowadays makes so much sense. The main takeaway from them was that from the game developers that criticized Baldur's Gate, saying that it's an anomaly and it's an unrealistic expectation, is that, oh yeah, players want this large scale, so much dialogue, so much emergent game. No, that's your takeaway? No. The reason why a lot of people praised Baldur's Gate 3 on top of it having its intrinsic value, which is like, again, fully rendered dialogue cutscenes, really good voice acting, music, emergent gameplay, a really good narrative, story, etc., whatnot. It is a single player and multiplayer game that did not rely on an internet connection 100% of the time, that had no microtransactions. That is literally what people are asking for right now. We just want video games to focus on what it is, being a really good video game. We are not saying that you cannot try to profit from it. No, the profit drive should come second. Make a good game, make a good foundation, and then try to see how you can make more money. Do not build a glass mansion on sand where, we have these clever ways to monetize players for playing this game, but the game is shit. Like, why? If people are happy with your game, people will spend on your game. But you have to make a game that makes players happy first. And that's exactly what Larian Studios did. That's exactly what Helldivers 2 did to some extent.
Yeah, that's I've heard nothing but good things about that one.
A lot of people did not play Helldivers 1, but because of word of mouth and just generally good reception from players, people bought Helldivers 2. And you look at how scummy, and not many people know this, guys. You look at how scummy Warner Brothers did Suicide Squad. That game is live service, online only, and guess what? On the website, I'm not sure if you can find it or see it, but on the website, it says that they can discontinue service and content whenever they please, basically. So if you bought the battle pass for season 1, 2, 3, whatever, and then suddenly decide, this game is not profitable anymore, so we're just shutting it down. Guess what? They can. Because they already put a disclaimer for it. And these are the kind of games that companies want to make, but gamers do not, the video game community does not want to play.
Yeah.
And it's not because it is profit driven. It's because it's primarily profit driven.
Yeah.
Because to some extent, every game, every product, every service in every business is profit driven.
Yeah.
You look at even Baldur's Gate 3. Like, of course,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was made to be. That is their job. So, of course, they want to make the most amount of money they can for the least amount of money that they spend making it. But when you buy the game, when you play it, it does not show that it's profit driven. The first thing you will see when you play Baldur's Gate 3 is you can see the passion and love that was funneled into that game.
Yeah,
It-
the character creation song, it almost made me cry. I'm like, this is so beautiful.
It
And that's
is
when
so
I
beautiful.
knew. I was like, this game is gonna be really good. And I
Yes.
was, oh man. Oh, that was amazing.
It is amazing. And you look at fighting games for the past few years already. Like, the whole grassroots arcade nature of the game is why it still persists to this day, even
Yeah.
as a grassroots even as a in the modern
Oh.
era of gaming.
Okay, please.
Oh, you okay, PK?
Yeah, I think it said my internet was disconnected. Let me see. Because I just
you-
had something cut off.
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
had like a. Okay.
Hiccup, all
I
good.
think I should be good. Okay.
Yeah. And you look at, say, Super Smash Brothers. Like, whether people like it or not, Super Smash Brothers still has the largest audience in any Evo in history. Whether people like it or not. And for some reason, Nintendo is not cashing in on that. Like, it blows my mind. But
yeah,
guess
I
what?
will never get that.
Guess what though? Despite that, the community is still keeping that game alive. Like, to this day, people are still keeping that game alive, whether or not Nintendo supports it or not. And you cannot have a successful fighting game without a thriving community. You cannot have a thriving esports scene without a thriving community to begin with. And if Bamco and Capcom wants their fighting games to make a fuck ton of money with the least amount of money that they spend, they first have to look at their game from the consumer's perspective. So again, they should try to look at the Spy Family collab from the perspective of most people who are playing this game and ask themselves, like, are people really going to buy this this collaboration cosmetics that we have? Or how many people will? And the thing is, games nowadays gather data for the company. Like, how many people are playing World Tour, Battle Hub, and the lobbies? They have all the data they need.
Yeah.
They have all the data they need. So maybe the data is pointing to them like, yeah, a lot of people are in the Battle Hub, so we will make avatar cosmetics more than character cosmetics. And at the same time, I'm like, how many people though are like, how much playtime is spent in the fighting game itself than the game mode where you are just controlling your avatar? I am pretty sure it's not even comparable. Because I have, like, even till this day, right? Especially today, when Street Fighter 6 launched, so many people were making avatar combo videos, right? On Twitter and stuff. Like, mixing different movesets from characters to make crazy combos. Where are they now?
Yeah.
Where are they now? Like, no, people have moved on from making that kind of content for Street Fighter 6, or they are clearly playing other games like me and PK. They're probably playing other fighting games, or they're playing any time they spend on Street Fighter 6, instead of dividing it into, yeah, I'll spend half of my Street Fighter 6 time for avatar battles and just the normal, Street Fighter 6 fighting game, to, yeah, I'm gonna split my fighting game time investment to 50% Street Fighter 6 not avatar but the normal fighting game, and Tekken 8 fighting game. I'm pretty sure most of them have moved to that format right now. So it still baffles me how the cosmetics that Street Fighter 6 has is very, very drip fed. I'll be frank. Like, by this time, we are about to reach its 1 year anniversary in about 2 months. And every character, not even counting Rashid and Aki, only have one new DLC outfit post launch. Like that is depressing, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That is depressing. Now I'm not saying every character should have like 2 or 3. Like sure, use the metric of the more popular ones, right? Like Luke or Ken, Chun-Li, JP, they should have like 3, 2 at least by now. There should be more outfits by now. And this is a possible continuous stream of revenue that they can do that I think players would like. Like they should really look at what players are playing the most or spending the most amount of time on and try to respectfully, not just monetize, respectfully monetize on that, right?
Yeah.
And when I mean by respectfully, the first thing they really need to change, do away with the in-game currency bullshit.
Oh yeah, that's just not, that should not be allowed in a game that you pay.
In my
full price for.
the only defense I have for in-game currency is if the game is free to play.
Yeah.
That is the only time I will defend it. If the game is free to play, like Fortnite and Valorant with V-Bucks and Radiant, yeah, it makes sense because you're not paying anything for that game anyway. Only the premium stuff. Like, okay, fair. But for Tekken and Street Fighter 6, we had to pay $60 to $100 for those games. Why are we paying for more like in-game currency that have shoddy to manipulative price formats, right? Like this outfit is $6. I should be able to spend only $6 for this outfit. And nowadays, unfortunately, no, you have to use the in-game currency, which we have conveniently priced it. So that you have an excess or a lack of for what you want to buy, which sucks. Inexcusable, even. Whew. Okay, we're finally at the last question of the podcast. So, do you think battle passes in fighting games will be like some sort of failed experiment, or do you think it will evolve?
I think that they're probably gonna stick around, so hopefully it will evolve. But I know, at least from like Capcom, I know they have like people that will analyze it and determine whether or not it's profitable or not, or if it's worth the price. Because like, for example, if nobody really buys Avatar stuff, but everybody will buy stuff for character skins, you know, it'd be better to put your resources to what's more profitable. But
yeah, they should shift to the character. Yeah.
Tekken 8's battle. Yeah. Tekken 8's battle pass. I don't think it's. I think it's better because of it's all for your characters, and the Tekken community does love customizations. I mean, I've seen so many streamers that have their own little customizations, even some using the battle pass stuff. So
yep.
I just think they just need to improve the quality of what they're selling, or just be like more mindful. And because I do think the Tekken devs interact with the community a lot, especially Harada-san.
Yeah.
So I do have faith that they'll maybe learn from it. So we'll just have to see. I'm hoping it comes out like way better, especially after Project L is released. But
yeah,
we'll just have to see.
I think the first thing they really need to do away with for these fighting game microtransactions and battle passes, in-game currency.
Yeah,
they
100%.
need to get rid of that, especially if it's not free to play. Second, if they want to charge people for the battle pass or for cosmetics on top of the very high price tag, people should have it's in connection to the first statement I have. People should be able to buy it straight. You want Nina's outfit from Tekken 6, the biker outfit? Give us $4. Okay, here, have my $4. Okay, transaction done. like that people will happily spend $4 straight for that instead of buying $5 of in-game currency and then having $1 left over and they're like, what the fuck do I spend this on now? So I think thing is, Battle Pass is definitely one of the monetization formats that have lasted really, really long. Like really, really long in terms of how companies have tried to monetize in their post-launch games, be it loot boxes, microtransactions, and now battle passes. Battle passes have been the more accepted ones, but still, like, people have a lot of complaints, rightfully so, on it. And again, like, there is no perfect alternative to battle passes right now, because every monetization option has its downside. Because again, microtransactions should be micro, right? And not just in quality or expenditure or how often, but how much people spend for one item should be micro. And to illustrate a point, right? You look at how people illustrated DLC problem in the past. DLC was a thing that was fixed very, very recently. Like, you look at how Cyberpunk handled Phantom Liberty, which is a DLC campaign or expansion, if you want to split hairs. It is a proper DLC because it does not complete the game, it adds to the game. That's what a DLC should be. You look at basically a meal or food that you buy from, we'll use this example because it was used in the past, a McDonald's cheeseburger. A DLC should not be the toppings or the burger or the contents of the burger. No, if I say that I'm getting a cheeseburger, I should have the cheeseburger. The DLC content should maybe be the extra fries, the extra large drink that I can get, but I am paying for the burger. That's what a DLC should be. Back then, yes, Crapcom. I am reminded of Crapcom with how they handled... You're not going to believe this, PK, if you do not know. Asura's Wrath, a single-player game that they had. The final chapter, which is also the true ending of the game, was locked behind a paywall.
Oh my god, yeah, Crapcom.
Crapcom era was one of the worst eras of Capcom. Of course, Witcher 3, and more single player games slowly showed how a DLC is accepted. Like, the cosmetics of Witcher 3 were free, and then the DLC campaigns did not complete the game. The DLC campaigns of Witcher 3 were really just for those who wanted to play more of Witcher 3. If you did not buy those, you were not like, the game was still complete, basically. And nowadays, really, like, a battle pass, like, it is in a very weird spot, right? Because think of it this way, a battle pass should complement, not complete, the experience of a game. It should complement it instead. Like, most battle passes that people do not complain about, that is exactly what it does. You look at, again, everyone's favorite example, Fortnite. Everything there is cosmetic. Everything. And how do you unlock it? How do you unlock levels? Just play the game. They give you dailies and weeklies to do so. And people have already, like, I will only do weeklies. Can I still complete the battle? Yes. Just by doing only weeklies, you can complete the battle pass. And the weeklies are not too hard to do. So again, that is another facet of battle passes. It should not be demanding. And that is the reason why it's tough to do for fighting games. Because again, fighting games already are demanding in of itself. So adding another demanding element to that is too much. They have to balance it out. I believe what the battle passes are made for is basically maximizing profit both long-term and short-term. Yes, true.
Yep.
Battle passes for sure are there for short term and long term because again, short term, you basically have people who will only spend like $10 and then that's it. But for long term, you have people who are already invested in the game and they will keep buying the battle pass every season. So it's a forever cycle, right? And it is a little bit of a handshake between the long-term players and the publishers. Like, I shake your hand, I give you money, you give me content. This is what we agree on. Respectfully, of course. And that is a handshake that must be implemented whenever a battle pass is in any game, and more so in a fighting game. And that is where the tough part comes. Because currently, the only respected battle passes are the ones that are purely cosmetic and the ones that are priced fairly and do not affect how people play the game. And unfortunately, Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 do the exact opposite because, again, these are not free-to-play games. You can only buy the battle pass with in-game currency, and by design, these potentially force people to play in a different way than what they want to. Because again, like I illustrated earlier, me and PK are on the middle to low end of pick rate because Nina is not as picked as often as the other half of the cast. Which, on surface level, me and PK do not mind because the battle pass is the last thing on our mind. Yeah. But for people who really, really like are invested in Tekken and Tekken alone, they do not feel like they are getting their money back whenever they buy the battle pass because they're like, wow, the character I main is on the short end of this really long ass stick, and most of the rewards from the battle pass are only for those on the higher end of the stick. Like, this sucks. And again, when it comes to any service or product, the goal should not be to please everyone. It's to please the majority. And that is for product and service models. Video game models are very different. Because, again, like, you cannot exactly please everyone in a fighting game. And each character belongs to a niche of of players, right? Because you have players who are very like, yeah, I want to be able to chain 6 electrics in a row. And there are some players, I just want to mash and win. And you can do that. You can do that in a fighting game. But that's how fighting games are designed, right? You focus on, you have to cater to a niche because a fighting game is designed in a way, and then the smaller niche is how you design your characters, and that is tough. And when you try to monetize on top of that, this is why this question, like, will fighting games, battle passes in fighting games be a failed experiment or will it evolve? This is where we are literally at a crossroads where I think battle passes in a fighting game is the wrong way to monetize, but if they get it wrong, I am worried about the next attempt of how publishers will monetize in a fighting game. And this worries me because more so than in a fighting game, right? And this already illustrates a problem. PK, do you have Eddie? Oh, you bought the
Eddie in Tekken 8? Yes.
Yeah, you do because you bought the Super Tekken Fan Edition.
Yep.
People who do not have Eddie cannot even watch replays that have Eddie.
Yeah, it's rough.
That sucks. And the thing is, not having Eddie will not stop you from fighting Eddie online. So you're like, how do I learn how to fight Eddie without looking away from my game? Guess what? You cannot. You cannot watch replays of Eddie. You cannot lab against Eddie. You can't. And that sucks. That is pure bullshit. I mean, even in Valorant, for fuck's sake, in Valorant, in the training mode, you can pick characters you don't have just to test them out. You can pick them. That's why I think Project L really has to nail the free-to-play format. Like, Grand Blue kind of does that pretty well. Because remember, every week, there is a new rotation of characters. And I have not tried it myself, but I think you can lab against these characters as long as they're in rotation in that week. Or was it not? Are there no restrictions? I'm not sure. But
yeah, I'm not sure either.
But basically, like in a fighting game, more so in a fighting game, not having access to a character, even in training mode, is a big no-no. Like, players should not be locked out of learning how to at least fight against a character they do not have. Because that is part of the experience by design. Because if a player does not know how to fight your character and they do not have the means to learn, and before any of you say, oh, check out YouTube or Twitter or ask Discord, no. People, any time spent away from the game just to learn how to play the game is time that should have been spent in the game in the first place. I should not need to look at a YouTube video of like moves that, I like these videos by the way, moves of Eddie that they should not get away with. Like, okay, fair, cool. But I should not need to do that. I should be able to go to training mode, look at Eddie's command list and know, oh, that's a low. Oh, it's a high. Oh, this is a mid. Oh, on counter hit, this is launch. Oh, this move that I have is good for countering this. Because I only have so much time in a day to play what I want to play that I should not be brought out of the game just to play the game. You see what I'm saying here? And a battle pass can do that in some way or another if it is badly designed. Like the time I spend playing this character that I do play and I choose another character to try them out, to learn them because, oh, I got some cosmetics from them. I want to use them. Or I have to use them. Not good. Not good. And of course, on top of that, just to put a bow on this, Capcom, just be fair. We're really just asking you guys to be fair with how you monetize your battle passes and your things in general. I mean, at the very least, I think with Tekken, you can buy an alternate costume with the cheapest like currency. That's already a good start. That is already a good start. But there should not be in-game currency for a game that already has like a really high price tag. That should not be a thing. That should no. I'm not subscribing to that. Okay, that is it for today's episode of Shrine Talk. PK, thank you so much for being my guest, and of course for your very good insights and your answers and whatnot. Before I end the stream, of course, I do this for all of my guests. Do you have any announcements you want to make or shout-outs, like your next stream or whatnot?
I will be streaming tomorrow, and I will be continuing my Evo Japan training arc.
There you go, guys. Sure, so yes, a little
more fighting game.
Yes, adventures. A little reminder for those who do not know, PK is competing in Evo Japan. For what games again? Guilty Gear, Tekken 8, and
Tekken 8, Grand Blue.
Yeah. Guilty Gear, Tekken 8, and Grand Blue. So yes, she is competing in 3 different, very, very different fighting games. So yes, please do support her. We wish you the best. Hopefully you do not drown too early in pools. Drown too not too early in pools. Hopefully not. Yeah.
Yeah.
As for yours truly, Foxtrots, I will be taking a brief break before I stream later in the evening. So yes, me and PK will see you in our respective streams. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today and this month's episode of Shrine Talk. We will see you all next time. Bye, everyone.